go. All right, we're live. For what that's worth. And
Happy day. Happy day. What time is it?
it is time for
To see what's on your brain?
Yep. See what's going on. We're streaming over here, chat. Hey guys, how's everything going tonight? Well, Hannah, it is going. We'll say that. That's how it's going. You got power over there, Nate?
Always an adventure.
Always. Yep.
Always an adventure. If you live in this world, it's an adventure. Or
all right. Well, I'm still working on one of the cameras. I'll mess around with it as we go. So we can switch to, let's see. Let's go to that. And we're on the table shot. Can everybody hear? And Mom, I pushed that over there to you.
what'd you push to me?
So if the sound is not loud enough or too loud, you've got the controls right there.
Oh, mercy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to put me in a control.
Yeah, I'm putting you in controls.
She doesn't have to tell Vince to be quiet anymore. She can just... Yeah.
Holy shit, Nate. How's that camera supposed to catch your face?
By angling it.
Oh, look at how Nate is. He's like,
I'm hidden.
you are Asian. Well, I'm not sure.
I told you, man. We need another hole in the table over here.
Yeah?
That's how the shot looks.
Let me
Yes?
see. Nice. Oh, yeah, there you go. That's a nice one.
Anyways.
Look over there, Nate. That's you. Oh, he took it
It's
off.
gone. You're gone, buddy.
He's done. He's done with you.
I gotta
I
make
have
sure.
been fired.
You have
Yeah.
been.
Again.
You have been
Fired.
fired.
You are fired. Nate, how do I do the thing?
Which thing?
What is this?
Hold on. What are you looking at here?
The Discord.
It's always a what happened deal. An adventure on August 23rd,
It is.
2022.
And here it
at
is.
the man cave, at the podcast, it's an adventure.
This is my brain. This is how this works. So
Yeah.
you did it quick last time, Nate. I'm expecting quick this time.
On a moment. Give him a moment.
Huh? Okay, then just minimize it. Tim will text me if he's.
You're missing it, Tim.
Tim will text me if he's in there. So the new camera that I have over here is so heavy.
Nice.
That's why I have my mic tipped up, because it's
Nice.
like,
I wouldn't put it there. We did have a meltdown last week on the show.
yeah. The spillage.
Yes.
So this is my brain. I'm Jeremy Scott Gibbs, Grandma Connie,
I'm here.
Grandma Supreme, Nate,
Hello.
and Taylor Vincent will be here shortly. Where's my red pen? I'm sticking with my red pen.
I know.
All right. It is August 23rd, and we're gonna see how the show goes tonight. Yeah, we did have fun last week, right?
We did.
Yeah. So
We did.
there, that's better. I can see clearly now.
That's cute.
I was messing around with
What
this,
do
and I didn't
you
know if I
use
wanted.
for your mic stand? I use my reading glasses.
I use my reading glasses.
I will use my reading glasses, honey.
We'll see if that one eventually changes over there on your end, but as of right now, they're being a pain in the ass.
Yeah, they are. Still, it's charging, but it still has that.
Just the USB connection, like it's connecting to it. Yeah, and this one just shut off, so it's not charged up enough. Oh, Nate's flipping us off.
Nate.
Not cool, Nate.
Nate.
I am giving the finger.
Take it back. I don't want it.
What's your number one, Grandma?
Number one.
Yeah. Number Number 9.
Number nine. Number nine. You know what's funny is with the new little cameras, I'm okay with it. It's the two little cheap ass webcams are working better than the two GoPros. Go figure.
Well, expensive doesn't always mean better.
But you know the thing is, I had that other GoPro working just fine the other day, and I just decided to move it across the table for Grandma.
I'm going to get the
and
one
put
from
this
downstairs.
This is the one from downstairs,
Oh, never mind then.
and it's
I
yeah.
am retardo.
No, you're not retardo. You're just not observo.
This is true.
Mhm.
This happens often.
Yep, it happens. So, all right, we're getting started. Dinner recap: lasagna and some garlic toast. Not too bad for a.
The cheese sticks on the toast was a bit weird, but it was very good.
Was it weird? It was.
It
there
fell
was-
off every time you took a bite.
Well,
of
there
it.
was two
that's true.
There was two that melted up perfectly. I thought Vicky. She said she got some cheese, and I didn't, specify to her and say, "Hey, get some shredded mozzarella," right? So,
So you did string cheese.
yeah,
She got the playtime cheese,
yeah.
not the game time cheese.
Right. So it doesn't melt quite as good. I know mine flopped off too, like a piece of it.
Right.
It was still good though.
Yeah, it was tasty. I bet you ate it all.
So I apologize to
one
a few
piece
people.
left.
Yeah, I apologize to a few people out there. Some of you are seeing the old date on there. I did not update the date before I hit the go live button, and so no, it is the 23rd tonight. This is the live show. I see that Mr. Lauder is already chiming in, so I got to make sure that he is. Yeah, it's not coming through on the other chat, so I have to keep that up there. So there we go. Nate, maybe pull up the Facebook over here. Let's see. Here, let's do it this way. I'm gonna take over that one just a second. I got it, Nate.
First
We got some really good stuff.
He calls on you and then he dismisses you. How do
Well,
you like that, Nate?
I knew it was gonna be a little bit easier for me to pop over here and do this
All right.
than to explain everything while we're on air. So if I click on that. While we're on air. Yeah, see? So then
Wow,
we
that
can just
latency time's really, really fast.
it's pretty quick,
Pretty
isn't
good.
it? Yeah. And they're doing you can see the closed captioning at the bottom. So
Wow, looking at it on the screen, I'm really hidden.
see, I tried to
That's about as good as you're gonna get.
Especially where in the
Because if I put it down,
spin him all the way around and make him go high.
that's better. There.
Wow. We're so smart.
The observant I am not.
so Mr. Lauder's chiming in. So I'm going to close this window over here so I don't have to. You're going to monitor that every once in a while. And
I
I'll
will.
switch back to this. I'll switch back to this computer. So just when you get a chance, tab that. I'll leave that to you. Anyways, not bad for Gordon's lasagna. We've been working quite a bit steady, so it's been tough to get back here and do custom meals like I like to do. Job we're on's pretty involved with a remodel, so there's constantly problems and issues that I'm encountering that I have to problem solve right there. So
We should do beef tips one of these Tuesdays.
I would love to. That takes me about an hour of total cook and prep time. I mean, I can leave and do other stuff when I'm doing it, but hey, Jeff, don't send me instant messengers while we're doing a live show because they pop up on my screen.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks for your
See how that does?
support.
It
I'm
is
like,
gone.
stop doing that.
Thanks for your support. Yeah, so the lasagna was good. It's
Yeah.
Gordon's Foods.
Gordon's, yeah, not
It
bad.
had like little meatballs in it.
It did. It's pretty good.
I chased a couple of them around.
Yeah. So I think Vince ran up to get a shower. So we'll do this. Hopefully I can do it because I don't see Tim in our chat helping us out tonight, which he normally does. So which button is it? Is it that button or is it this button? Anyways, I will try it. Let's try it. That's how we do that. And is it... I gotta know which button it is.
Is it?
That button. Nope. That, nope.
Oh. This is a test. This is just a test.
What is it? Oh, is it that button? There it is. Okay, I know what button
Oh.
I'm pushing now.
There you go. Notice, this place is politically incorrect. We say Merry Christmas, one nation under God. We salute our flag and give thanks to our troops. If this offends you, please leave.
Get the fuck out.
Or, yeah,
As we like to say.
as the boys like to say.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Adios.
Goodbye. And
We do not want your negativity.
It's Wiedersehen?
Wiedersehen.
Wiedersehen. And Vince isn't here.
What is he?
Did I just hear him walk in?
I don't know.
Vince, you here?
Nope.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, except for bears. Bears just fucking
They
kill
will
you.
kill you.
Yep. Let's see. Nate, let's go with... we're just going to skip through a few here. Nate, give me a Second Amendment one here, buddy.
Oh, I get the honor of doing the Second Amendment?
Yep. Give me a Second
There you
Amendment
go,
there.
aged man.
I thought I switched between cameras, but everybody saw that happen. So go ahead, Nate.
A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Shall not be infringed.
Shall not.
Expires never.
Never?
Never.
Never ever.
Ever.
It was issued in 12/15 of 1791.
What was amazing was that Nate was reading it off of the...
I was reading it from the
Facebook.
live stream.
Nice.
That's
Very
fun
nice.
stuff. Let's see. We'll just do one or two more. I got to remember how to switch back. There we go. And what one did I want? I want this one. No. Where's the one I want? Oh, it's right there.
Oh.
Just having lots of fun tonight. Fucking up. A long habit of not thinking anything wrong gives it a superficial appearance of being right and raises at first a formidable outcry in defense of custom. But tumult soon subsides and time makes more converts than reason. Thomas Paine, 1776, from Common Sense, the pamphlet that helped push the colonies into the final decision to go to war for their own liberty. Pretty amazing. Let's just cut to the John Wayne real quick.
Oh, yeah, we got to do that one. Together.
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 All right, we ready?
Together.
Never
Never
apologize
apologize
and never explain. It's a sign of weakness. We've got to do that in unity every time because that's what we're about. All right, I'm done switching on that shit.
Nice.
We did pretty good there. Pretty good.
Not bad.
The topic for tonight is follow the money. Follow the money. And in line with follow the money is the Latin phrase cui bono, which in English means to whom is it a benefit, or who stands to gain, or who is the benefit. Mom, read the...
In English, to whom is it a benefit is a Latin phrase about identifying crime suspects. It expresses the view that crimes are often committed to benefit their perpetrators, especially financially.
Yes.
So let's do it again. Cui bono in English, to whom is it a benefit, is a Latin phrase about identifying crime suspects. It expresses the view that crimes are often committed to benefit their perpetrators, especially financially.
especially financially. So who benefits? Cui bono. So in keeping with that, I took down 1 Timothy 6:10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, of all kinds of. Well, this is the New King James. All right. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil, for which some have strayed from the faith in their greediness and have pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Do you have that pulled up, Nate?
I do, yes, because I'm a good intern.
He's a good intern right there. Let's widen that screen a little bit. You can just, there you go. Check that out on the fly. Doing that right now. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, for which some have strayed from the faith in their greediness and have pierced themselves through with many sorrows. What version is that? Is that I thought I was in King James on that. Scroll.
Yep. The New King James version.
That was New King James? Then I must have... that was slightly different than... all kinds of evil. No, that is exactly what I heard.
Yep.
Pierce themselves through? Okay. I get confused because I have NIV, New King James, and the King James all running through my head at various times.
It's really hard because if you were raised on King James and then you went to NIV,
yeah,
and then the New King James came out,
right,
and then you have all these different, it's like for me as a person who memorized them, as what I needed for that particular period in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go from King James to NIV, and it's like one or two words can mess you up.
What the hell's Tim doing?
What's he
I
doing?
don't know, but it's funny.
Read that.
What is it?
Mr. Lauta, he says, hey, are there Chinese hockey players? Chinese everything else?
I don't rightly know.
Don't know for sure.
We're
I guess
They
I really wouldn't
probably
know
are.
for sure. I'm Korean.
Yeah.
exactly. How does that work?
How's that work?
Slowly.
Slowly.
We've been teasing Nate. I won't give it away. We got to do the skit. That's all there is.
We
to
got to
it.
do the skit.
So I won't give that away.
The
Bedtime novel.
NIV says, for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Some people, eager for money, have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. That's NIV.
Okay. That one works.
For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. That's King James.
Mm-hmm.
So you must have... I don't know what you got up there. Well, you said New King James.
Yep.
The new...
Anyways, we're going to get into that. The Anglo-Saxon for tonight. Please excuse my Anglo-Saxon, but don't touch my fucking money. And there's where that is.
Whoa.
Yeah. Mom, explain Anglo-Saxon to the fine folks out there in the
Oh,
audience.
they don't want to hear it from me again, do they?
Oh, yeah, they do.
Well, look it up. The Anglo-Saxon...
Period.
Yeah, look it up. The Anglo-Saxon used the word fuck in their normal language.
Yep.
In their regular language, not as a curse word or it was a...
It was a normal word.
It was, for lovemaking or beating against,
Yep.
And the French came in and said that they didn't...
We do not like that word. It is vulgar.
We think this is vulgar. And so that's when it became, what would you say, vilified as a word that is bad. And so if you use that word, Nate, you're bad.
Sounds like ignorance to me.
And then the FCC came in and said that it's equally as bad, and now we're stuck with that.
But the thing is, it hasn't disappeared. It's kind of like when they did prohibition.
Yeah.
It comes out faster and harder and more strong. It's so amazing. I mean, prohibition, they cut out all the alcohol, can't have it, can't. And guess what? We ended up with the mob.
Doesn't that just apply to everything now?
It does.
They've cut out a bunch of things, and doesn't that just make you want it a little bit more?
Well, marijuana
mean-
was the same thing. You know,
Right.
when they stopped that, marijuana was illegal, but guess what?
Everybody still did it in heaps.
Yeah, I have friends who never stopped. You know, from the time in 70s, in the 60s, and they never stopped to this day.
Right.
They got marijuana where they could get it, just like alcohol in prohibition times. They
I
got
was gonna-
alcohol.
That's why there's a big drug problem though too, is because it's illegal. So everybody's just gonna keep doing it as much
Yes.
as they can, in as much quantity as they can.
Well, because they can make money because then the government doesn't regulate it. They don't
Right.
take the taxes out, so they get their profits are theirs.
Yep.
You know, you make it. How would you say? You make it.
I don't know what you you make it when you make it when you're saying when you make it
Yes.
illegal,
Yes.
you create a black market
Yes.
because people are going to go for it anyways. That's one of the things that I come down the line on being a libertarian from that dynamic is that when you are, I think they should decriminalize not only marijuana, because all they've done is made it legal, and I don't even like that. I mean, it's good, but at the same time, or it's a step forward, but I don't
Well,
even
I
like
think
that.
the
Decriminalize it, get the fuck out of it. You don't need to be involved in it.
But the legality, they did that so they could get the tax revenue.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. Is
Period.
they didn't decriminalize it. There's still a shit ton of regulations that cover it, but it is. It's become another industry that the government regulates, and every time they regulate something, it becomes shit. Is Tim just has?
Mr. Lauder's having a problem with the Chinese tonight. Did they mess up your Chinese order?
Yeah.
Did they get the food wrong?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He even sounds Chinese when he's saying it. Kind of like the money China is making don't help the Chinese people.
No.
Like,
No.
China is
China-
asshole.
China is asshole. Yeah. Just so you know, over here you keep going in and out. What in and out of what?
All of us are.
All of us? The sound? I'm not sure.
Is it
I know I'm going in and out. I keep going between my mic and not my mic, and then my
Yeah,
mic. And
that
not,
could be
and-
what it
yeah,
is.
it
Keep in
doesn't
front of your
take
mic.
much. I know. You got to.
The intern who does the
Speak in.
coffee. I don't know, Nate. Do you do coffee? We don't do coffee on the show. We do adult beverages,
Not coffee,
not the coffee.
and I
Yeah,
don't do
it's-
errands anymore either.
No, and Nate served me for every single time that I was up on Don't Make This Weird podcast with.
By the way, you
Tony
were the
Heather.
only one. All them other motherfuckers got their own drinks. I ain't
Really?
doing that. Yeah.
Dude, it's my man.
See?
Hey,
See how you rate?
membership has privileges, I guess. Bootleg booze. Yeah, buddy. Keep us posted there, Hannah, if we keep going in and out. I think it's just being the microphones. I got to train everybody to stay on the microphones. They got to be able to swivel their head and keep their face right on the fuzzy.
Well, not only that, I mean, because I don't know about you guys, but my
Keep
phone
it on
has
the
been
phone.
doing that.
What, your phone?
My phone has been going
Oh.
in and out and stuff. So they are changing cell towers and internet stuff. I can tell you just from what I'm going through with my phone right now.
Right.
Yep.
Just about
Hannah's
the
been
last.
going through that a lot too.
Yeah, just about. In
So
the
it might not
last,
be us,
what,
it might just
week
be
and
her
a
phone.
half.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's been doing that for like the last month or so.
Is it a whole month?
Yeah.
Because I don't even think it's been that long. It's been like about 2 weeks tops. But it's making me crazy. And it's generally north of here. If I'm talking to somebody north of here,
Yep.
that I lose them or they break up and I get every third word. So
Seems like a pattern.
Something's being messed with.
Um,
Towers and
Since
stuff.
being funny here.
something's being funny here.
I think so.
Yeah. So, anyways, I keep losing these two cameras. I guess it was an okay thing to do. You don't have any power on that one, do you? Or it's just blinking.
It's
It's
still
showing the.
got that stupid thing.
Yeah. I was hopeful that I would have it set up. But the only one I've got so far is that one,
Mr. Whiskers.
Mr. Whiskers. There. That's a
Oh, hello.
pretty heavy duty close up there, Nate.
I can't move the camera
Whoa.
back.
I know.
in.
I know.
It's bolted in.
I can give you the.
It's strapped on.
I know I can give you. Yeah.
Little ratchet.
The tiny ratchets. And he can
The
move it down.
tiny,
I'm going to
tiny
switch
ratchet.
camera. I'm going to switch to the table cam while you do that.
now I'm just having
All
a
right, so
hot
we got a
flash
ton of
over
news I
that.
want to get into tonight. A lot of shit to talk about. Bye-bye Fauci. What's actually in the fucking shots. Let's see. The raid on the Amish farm. Nate wants to talk about some of the shot shit. And let's see. The main thing I want to talk about when I point out follow the money, okay? If we talk about certain things, the jab and whatnot on this, did you figure out how to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. When we talk about the jab on this show, because you can't say certain words, you can't say certain things, or Facebook and YouTube will kick you off. Hannah says we keep lagging. That may be Twitch, Hannah, because I'm not hearing it from anybody else. But in fact, when we were looking at the Facebook, it was going pretty solid over here. All right, Nate's making me ill with moving the camera around.
Well,
I'm so sorry.
No, it's just I'm like
don't look at it.
I keep looking.
Don't look at it.
I'm trying not to.
Don't look at it.
But one of the things that was amazing to me is over the last, I don't know, that I've noticed over the last few weeks, we've noticed that when the weather report and some of the other reports come on our local radio station here, guess what?
What?
Sponsored by Big Pharma.
Pfizer.
Well, he's saying Pfizer, but sponsored by, we'll just keep it benign so that they don't think we're attacking them, even though we are. But it literally is coming on there and saying that the weather report's sponsored by Big Pharma. And we know that the reason even Newsmax and definitely Fox News, the only one on there that will come out against Big Pharma is Tucker, because it's in his contract that he doesn't have to do that. But they advertise a shit ton on Fox News and on Newsmax and a bunch of these other ones. And the thing is, they keep coming out and saying safe and effective, safe and effective. Well, if you've got to do safe and effective, if you've got to tell me that it's safe and effective, it's not.
It just worked and then it didn't work. Did you see that?
What?
My camera. You had it on and it worked and then it just went out and it showed that stupid thing.
Oh, the camera's, yeah, it's showing the thing. It's just not showing.
No, it showed my face.
That's that one. That's Vince's.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Oh, that could be.
That is much better.
Not so close.
Let me know, everybody. Is that better? I think that's better.
Oh, Nate, that's way better. Look at the man. Hannah.
Don't change my camera.
Okay, so Daniel says that his feed has been doing it as well, but it hasn't done it in a little while. According to our stream over there, we got a pretty good stream. So assuming we're doing pretty good. We should be doing just fine. Anyways, I'm cutting. Sorry, I left Nate on there.
It's okay.
Is that the one I was doing?
You seem
Yeah,
to
and
be
then you
doing
moved your
pretty
face. Anyways, so the first one, Nate, go to the first couple tabs over there and let's see what we got. Let's look at this. Tab 4. Tab 4, please.
This one?
Yes.
The snake oil salesman?
Representative Massey eviscerates Fauci. Snake oil salesman is trying to ride the wagon out of town before people get to hold him accountable. So let's see what that says. Is that there's a picture of Faustus himself as the snake oil salesman. What do you got there, Nate? Let's read a little bit of that. Or you want me to read it?
I'm making it bigger for you.
You're making it bigger. You want to read it? You want me to read it?
You go ahead.
All right. Comparing Fauci to snake oil salesman scurrying out of town after where he hawked his ineffective cures, tonics, and potions. Representative Massey highlighted numerous missteps made by Fauci during the crisis, including his promotion of masks, lockdowns, and faulty vaccines, the jabs, if you will. And I'm quoting, so fuck off Facebook and YouTube for telling me I'm speaking against it. Science didn't evolve. Fauci ignored science, Representative Massey said. He said that, in fact, because Fauci has come out, and I don't want to play his stupid ass, but he came out and was doing his interviews now that he's leaving, and he said, well, there was some things that we had to learn on the fly, some things that we had to discover because, science is always evolving and we don't always get it right. Oh, that's called ass coverage. You're covering your ass because you fucked up.
Can we talk about the thing that was all over InfoWars this morning?
Yeah.
The whole 3/4 of the periodic table was found in the vaccines they tested?
I got that in the list.
Okay.
That's the next tabs. I want to stick with I want to deal with the money guy first
with the head.
Because Fauci, the head of the snake, because Fauci refused to answer, and I don't know if we played that clip a few weeks back, but he refused to answer. And that's the bastard right there. He refused to answer Representative or Senator Rand Paul when Rand Paul asked him to explain, how much money did you make off this? And he said, I don't have to disclose that, Senator. I don't have to tell you about that. It's like, yeah, you do. You work for the government and I'm a senator. So this guy is one of the biggest fucking frauds out there, and it's all about that money with him and Bill Gates and all those guys. And when you follow the money, you find out. But here's my biggest thing about this, and here's what I really wanted to get into. Everybody says, oh yeah, it's always the rich. And when I read 1 Timothy 6:10, for the love of money is the root of all evil, people automatically assume the rich, right? But what that text is talking about, and Nate, go to the other web browser at the bottom. Yeah, go to the Brave. Pull up the third tab. You need to move that thing closer to you. That's fourth tab. Third tab, please. Okay. And I'm going to... So when you look up that Greek word on Blue Letter Bible, what you get is... I'm going to switch over. When you look up that word, translated love of money, over on... Why didn't you switch? Thank you. Oh, there it is. Okay. I couldn't find the mouse from way over here.
You're moving it way too fast.
I guess so. So read that. However you say that word. It's philia geria, right? Fierlo. I always have this guy say it. But it's probably muted.
Strong's G 5365.
Philagoria. Okay. So here's the interesting about philagoria, right? And a lot of people think, obviously it says the love of money, but the two compound is a compound word. There's phila, which is where we get brotherly love, okay? Philadelphia, philo, right? And then when you go further into the root, it breaks it down into those two words, okay? So this is loving money is the first root of that phrase. But then you've got philios, right? And it means friend, associate, one who associates with, to be friendly, to wish one well. Okay, so think about that. Friend, friendly, associate, all right? Now we go back to the second word that forms this compound word. Agiros, okay? Here, we'll make him say it.
Strong's G 696.
Argyros. I knew I wasn't saying it right. Okay, Argyros. Now check this out. Things made from silver, vessels, images of gods, refers to silver, which the columns of the noble buildings were built from, and the rafters were adorned. Okay, so it literally means silver. The word right there means shining. Okay. So when you look at those two words together, the picture that you need to get is that it's So when it says love of money, you can't just look at it as somebody who loves money and you think of a rich person, you think of a greedy person. And that's the idea that they want generally for you to get. Okay, the greedy person, that's the head of it. And those are those people. But what I want to get to is pointing out what that scripture is really saying, and that is that when it says, for the love of money is the root of all evil, it's saying that the friends or those who are associates of those who have silver. Okay? So when you think of the love of money is the root of all evil, you think of rich people. But in reality, that's not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root. When it says the love of money, you think rich people is the root of all evil. That's right. Most people. But what it's really saying is the people who suck up to and fawn over and do the biddings of those who have money. That's the root of all evil. The friend of those who have silver. Okay? Filio, however you say that other, Argose? I can't say it. Nate, hit that button. Did I click it?
Strong's G,
Yeah.
696. Argyros.
Argyros. Okay.
Argyros.
Argyros. So filio and Argyros, right? One means a friend of, an acquaintance of. The other one means silver, simply. So it's a friend of silver. Well, who's the friend of silver? Not the guy who owns the silver. That's the owner of the silver. But the one who's a friend of the silver is the people who works for him. And so when I'm talking tonight about following the money, there's Fauci, there's Gates, there's Klaus Schwab, there's all these other, big assholes that are out there. But the people who are really exemplifying the love of money being the root of all evil are those who take a paycheck to do shit for those people. That's where the true problem is. The true problem is not the rich people who are wicked and evil. It's the people who do their bidding.
For the money.
For the money. That's the love of money that's the root of all evil. In fact, it says it right there when it says, for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, for which some have strayed from the faith. What is faith? If you think of the word faith, and we Christianize everything, but faith just means trust. When you break it all down, okay? They've strayed from the faith in their greediness and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Well, certainly the rich have their own sorrows and stuff like that, but who really pierces them through with sorrows? It's those who are serving those evil rich people. Those are the ones who are in the sorrows. Those are the ones whose lives are mostly destroyed and shattered because they're serving these evil pricks.
Well, they're serving the money. They're compromising their faith and serving for a monetary gain.
Right.
And that is empty.
Well, and that's my point is that I watched all these. I watched these. I was hearing it on. I think it was Owen Schroyer was saying it today, and he was like, the people who went. We're going to get into this. The raid on the Amish farm, which is fucking ridiculous, but he was saying, who are these people that are going? The minute that they said, "Let's go raid an Amish farm because they're not doing right," he's like, every one of those people should have said, no, this is not right. No, we're not doing this.
Yeah, these people have been here forever.
250 years, some of those farms.
They're peaceful and they're taking care of their business, and now all of a sudden you're gonna what?
You're gonna go raid them.
You're gonna cause this problem for what reason?
Right. But
Can't have cows farting.
Can't have cows farting. But that's what I'm saying is the people, the boots on the grounds are the ones who are following these bullshit orders that are the real problem. That's the real problem. That's the true root, the love of money, root of all evil. That's when we think about it, it's like, so when I'm following the money, I'm not looking at the main person. I'm looking at the person who compromised their own health by getting jabbed to keep a paycheck.
And that's exactly what came to my mind was, it's really sad, but it's true that you would compromise what you believe in because you need that paycheck and your employer is saying you have to get the job to work here. 100% of people walk out, that'll shut that business down.
Absolutely. And that's my whole point is when we're looking at all this stuff, and here's what I want to do is I want to get to the point where we're empowering more and more people to say no and walk out and say, no, I'm not doing this shit.
And it runs with fear.
Right.
I mean, people are afraid, but I'll tell you what, you should be very afraid of what's going on right now.
Well,
and what's been going on.
We know, or you guys know here, Vince and I never wore masks. The one time that I put one of those like biker sock things that you put around your neck and you can pull them up for dust was the last 7 minutes of me filling out, almost an hour's worth of paperwork to get my concealed carry license. And that was only because somebody else walked in all fully masked up in surgical gloves and the people in the office who didn't have a problem with us not having our masks on until that person walked in.
Sure.
And then they're like, you need to pull your... And I'm like, this is fucking theater and this is stupid. But they're being obedient in that office because of a paycheck.
Right.
And that's what this truly means. The love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. You don't get the evil that we're living in the world unless you have all these people that are selling out for paychecks.
Yeah, they're succumbing to the pressures and they're saying, oh no, I can't lose my job. I can't do this. But seriously, I can guarantee you if everybody said no, there would be a comeuppance.
Absolutely. It'd be really quick.
It would, yeah.
There'd be a lot of problems real fast.
Yeah, you talking about I can't come to work without a vaccine. Problem is that they injected first and foremost fear. And once they injected fear, then people, instead of really checking it out and watching, they went first to get their vaccine.
Right.
And what bothers me the most about that is that the vaccine is...
Oh, we say jab here, Mom.
Oh, it's never been proven. It's never worked out.
Safe and effective.
You know what?
Fauci said it was safe and effective.
Fauci can say what he wants. I have yet to see him say the same thing about this. I have yet to see him be consistent in saying this is the road we're on and we're going to go this. He's like all over the place.
We're going to go to that one next, Nate. So the Republicans vow to investigate Fauci despite convenient retirement. Is there more to that, or was that just a link to the video?
No, that's just a link to the video.
Just a link to the video. Okay.
Yeah, it is kind of convenient that he's getting out before he gets hung, so to speak.
How many of those Republicans who want to investigate him got the jab?
I don't know. I think most of them that say they got, I don't know. I think the ones that refused to get the jab, and then there were ones that got the placebo, and we've talked about it on here. Trump needs to come out and say that it was wrong and bad, and he was lied to by Fauci and lied to by Birx, and just say it was bad. And the thing is, he's got that big ego, and he doesn't want to do that, but he could come out and say, I'm really proud of how we rolled out everything, because he did roll out massive quantities of ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine and what was the other one? Major one. There was a whole ton of Regeneron. Yeah. I always Regeneron and remdesivir. Remdesivir is Fauci's death cure.
Yeah.
It's just going to kill you. Shut your kidneys down in 5 days and you'll be dead. But the Regeneron, I believe that was what Trump said he took when he was in the hospital.
Yeah.
When he
They
came
gave
down.
me Regeneron.
Right. And
Not remdesivir.
so he's extremely proud of Warp Speed, but he needs to come out and say that Warp Speed was great, but the vaccine, the jab itself, he's come to learn that he was lied to and that it is,
It was not a vaccine.
it's not a vaccine and it's demonic. I mean, it's It's an mRNA reprogrammer. We've talked about it multiple times on the show and had some number of videos kicked off because of it. So Fauci's trying to run and hide. He's trying to leave the sinking ship while he can, and he's acting like he's, just transitioning. It's just time. You've been in government for 40 years, dude. If there wasn't something coming down the line that you're trying to run from, you'd stay in there until you died. You'd be Ruth Bader Ginsburg on an iron lung. She didn't want to resign as a judge until she literally was dead. I mean, that's just, Pelosi's not going to leave unless we force her out.
Oh, Lord.
Schumer.
She needs out of here now.
Shit my pants Nadler. None of those guys are going to leave.
Wow.
I do have an update for Biden, though.
He looks like a fucking loser.
And there it is. He's not a complete and total loser, but
Chocolate chip.
An imbecile, like the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived.
Yeah, that's kind of
Never go full retard.
because he
Never go for retard.
he has gone full retard, and so we just gotta endure, people. We gotta endure. Vince, you're here. Did you eat lasagna?
I'm here. Hello.
You want to recap anything, lasagna or anything like that, or we're just gonna get into it? Delicious.
Yeah.
That's what you got for me.
Yep.
Delicious.
Yep.
He's a man of few words, isn't he?
Yes, he is a man of few words.
He is a man of few words.
So you can close those two tabs, Nate, on the Fauci. We got the
The gist of it.
fucking guy. Let's go to where do we want to go? We want to go to the blood clots. We want to go to the Amish raid, or we want to get into what the fuck is in that shit. I talked about the local. That was the big thing. The local. Let me finish that point because I started to talk about it and I didn't finish it. But local radio stations are now being sponsored by Big Pharma. You want to know how they're perpetuating the lies, how Big Pharma and everything are perpetuating the lies? They're paying people off, but they're not paying people off in a bribe. They're giving them money to, we're just going to sponsor you. We're just going to sponsor your show. Oh, I found out that there might be some anomalies with this. Yeah, well, we sponsor your show, so let's not really talk about that. That would not be cool if you lost our sponsorship. That's called coercion. And they get their hands in you, and because you're a friend of that silver, that shiny thing, now you go along with the plan, even though you know it's fucking wrong. And that's what's happening. The vast majority of people are going along with it because they're afraid of their paycheck being gone, afraid of their sponsorship being gone.
It's the easy way too. They don't want to fight or look for understanding. It's easy to sit back. That's why we're referred to as sheep.
Exactly.
We'll just follow along, do what they tell us. And that's the whole concept of what they pulled. That's what they wanted. They wanted this to happen. They wanted us to follow along and get in line.
Yep.
Get in line. Do not fuss. Don't make a big deal out of it. Just do it.
I don't know if we're just lagging, but we might have been pulled from Facebook.
Yay.
Oh, did it freeze up over there?
Completely.
Nice. Let me see what we got over here.
Can we get an award?
We get an award. We're still on over there.
A medal.
We get awards.
We're still on our main feed over here.
Up and we're back.
We're just lagging. See, I don't know.
Okay, well.
So.
See, this says we're excellent right here, but then it just showed me that Twitch was running a little slow. Vince, thought.
Dan. So I was just thinking, imagine a scenario where everyone, 100%, went along with this. What is the end result? Knowing what we know now.
Death.
Complete and utter reset.
Everyone dead in 5 to 10 years.
Right. Which is what they want. I need to do a report now that Nate's down here. He brought his laptop this time so we can do some editing. But
I did.
I need to do a report because I want to do one of the things I want to do is you may not believe this, and that's fine. I don't care. You haven't investigated. I investigate anything that piques my interest or people throw at me. Okay. But a lot of people, a growing group of people that believe the earth is flat, okay? And you may not believe that, and that's fine. But I'm going to tell you what, the elites, and it's funny that they call them globalists, they believe it. 100%. They believe it. And if you don't, we're going to put a report together and put it out there, and I'm going to go through, I've listed out 10 or 12 things. I've got it in my notes, and I've already started to compile together, but they absolutely believe the earth is flat, okay? And a few of the things, go look at the UN flag. It is a flat earth flag, flat earth map. And then look at the other agencies that are associated with them. They're all flat earth. But here's the biggest and most compelling aspect of it. These people have unlimited resources, the wealth of the world, and supposedly Elon Musk has launched a Tesla into space to go to Mars, some shit, right?
But he decided he wanted to have, it's the car, Tesla car, right? It's red.
But that's what I'm saying is,
it's like, what's the point?
These people, if they really had all, if the earth was not flat and they could leave, why haven't they?
Well, hopefully,
wouldn't they have already?
Well, we're waiting for.
We supposedly went to the moon.
They have all the wealth in the world in there.
We supposedly went to the moon in 1968, 69, right?
Yeah.
Why haven't they left and set up a moon base like they portrayed in multiple movies?
Well, he sent his car up there, so let's.
Yeah, and he laughed.
Let's put that in big air quotes.
Yeah, and then he laughed and said, "It's so it looks so fake because it has to be real because why would we have really good CGI."
It was one of his own vehicles too.
Yeah.
Why would you send your own goddamn car to Mars?
He's an idiot.
Why would you send a car anyways unless you were planning on driving it up there in Mars? So.
But that's what I'm saying about this is
how's
why.
How's he going to get the gasoline, man?
If you have all these resources and all this money and all this technology,
plug it into the.
How's he going to recharge it?
How's he going to?
He's going to tell the aliens to
grid
bend over
from the coal power plants that are.
But that's my point is they believe whether you believe the earth is flat or not, they believe that they cannot escape this terrarium that we live in. Because they've done Operation High Jump, they've done Operation Fishbowl, okay? They've tested to see if they can get out. They now tell us that in the 1960s we went to the moon, but now we've lost the technology and can't go again. It's literally the director of NASA came out and said that. So here's the thing. If they believe there was space and they could go, they would have left by now.
Excuse my French, but that's fucking bullshit.
It's fucking bullshit. So here's the thing.
That's
they
Anglo-Saxon.
want to. That's Anglo. Yeah, it's not French. Anglo-Saxon.
Anglo-Saxon.
Excuse my Anglo-Saxon, but that's fucking bullshit. So if they could leave, they would have done so by now. They can't. So their only solution is to kill everybody else.
See,
and leave just them?
I don't understand what
they have all the money in the world. They have nobody else to pay it to. So there's no evil then.
But that money is not for. They don't care about money anymore. Once you reach a certain place of money, it's all about control,
power.
Yep. And that's what I'm saying. When I say follow the money tonight, what I'm really talking about is follow along with your neighbor, the person next to you who just sold their soul for a fucking paycheck. And that caused this and this and this cascades of things.
They believe they are the shepherd now.
How many people in the the shepherd leading us off the cliff? Vince, how
Quite
many?
A steep cliff.
Is it 30 million extra people have died in the last 2 years each year because of the first world shutdowns? I want to say that's
conservative.
Conservative. That's UN numbers have said. It was like 30 million more people have starved to death.
Yeah, but
because the first world lockdown.
Real numbers or what they're saying is numbers?
If they're admitting 30, it could be 60. It could be 100. Okay?
But I was going to say, how many of those are actually recorded deaths, though?
They're starving to death in third world countries because the first world, through its generosity and its abundance, takes care of much of the third world countries. I mean, how much money do we ship not just to Ukraine because they need our billions of dollars
for something we started?
Exactly. Don't give it all away, Nate. We got to
sorry.
save that for. I mean, come on.
I'm giving them the behind-the-scenes details.
There you go.
No mom and pop stores to buy commercials from. No, there's a few mom and pop stores that'll buy commercials, but when you've got I guarantee you Big Pharma comes in there and just...
Yeah, it's like the end of every radio ad from the radio station, you know, the one that's right uptown.
Sponsored by Big Pharma.
At the end of every one, sponsored by Pfizer.
We don't say... Oh, he said it too. I'm not in trouble
Sponsored
anymore.
by
Big Pharma. The number one, America would be described
Voldemort.
in one word. Big Pharma.
Voldemort.
Be bold.
Be bold, Big Pharma. You know, we could probably move that mic back to the other hole if you're...
He's over here
crowding
close
on
to
Grandma.
Grandma. This way, if
good.
he's
He just
bad,
wanted to
I
get
can
cookies, Grandma
smack him.
forgot.
Sharing
space.
Transferring heat.
It's a little toasty over there.
We're good.
Little toast.
We're good.
That must
So
be why I'm cold.
Oh, there you go.
You're all over there.
You're way
All
over
alone.
there. All
All
alone in the
alone.
corner.
So that's my main focus when we're talking about stuff tonight is when you follow the money, everybody, of course, we can do the exposés and we can follow the money all the way up to the top, okay? But the only way that those motherfuckers succeed is the people who work for them. That's the only way, okay?
That's what really bothered me with the supposed insurrection, because it was like, why were these guys acting like there was a big riot?
They're being paid.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. They're
And
being
it's-
paid.
And it's, to me, it's like, okay, do you compromise your value for your boss?
Yep.
You do?
I mean, not me personally, but
He's saying,
I'm sure there's at least
They're allowed
100
in
million
general.
other people that would say absolutely yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Every day.
that's I mean, do you remember
Soul my
Joyce
soul.
Myers gave her her testimony that she was in a job that she didn't feel like she was qualified for, and this is verbatim, look it up, but she her boss said, "No, don't give these people their money back. Don't write a check," because he didn't want to give up the money, but they were legally owed this money.
Right.
And she went, okay, am I going to lose my job? Because this is against my morals. This is against the truth and honesty. So she went home and she prayed over it at the night. And then she came in and he said, he called her in and she told him, she said, I can't do what you're asking me to do. And she was promoted in that particular business, promoted to higher up, because even though he was pissed off that she didn't do what he said to do, he knew it was right.
Right.
And she was accountable to herself and God. And she said, it doesn't really matter. I can lose my job. Basically, that's what she said. You can fire me, whatever, but this is wrong and I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we stand as Americans, is like, are you going to do it because your boss says it? Or are you going to do it because it's right?
And that's my whole point about this, the following the money. It's like, who benefits? The cui bono. Who benefits? Who does this benefit? And everybody says, well, it benefits the big rich guy on the hill. No, it benefits everybody who goes over there and works for him. And I said this for years. Vince knows this. I said this about minimum wage for years. I don't like a minimum wage, especially mandated by the government. And people go, well, I go, no. What that says is, number one, the government is going to enforce a wage based on whatever. They base it on a whole bunch of stuff, okay? But they're going to force a certain wage that employers are required to pay. So some employers will pay people the minimum wage, all right? That they're required to do, okay? So what you've done in the workplace is you have not instituted a performance-based income bracket that is developed, that is not crony capitalist, but true capitalist, where you do a great job for me, I'm giving you more money. You make me money, I'm going to give you more money. And so
Basically incentivizing every company out there that has to abide by it to pay their employees the least amount as possible.
Correct. And what's
to
funny,
bring up their profits as much as possible.
correct.
Because
And
the less you have to pay, the more you make.
well, like, well, we paid the minimum wage. And what's also amazing is that the unions love the minimum wage, even though they don't pay minimum wage to their people. They pay far higher, right? But they gauge what they pay their people, or what they demand that the corporations pay the union people, based off minimum wage. Well, if this is the minimum wage, then as union workers, we're demanding from X, Y, and Z company that you pay us this much, because this is what, but we bring a unionized workforce that has these guidelines and this stipulations. But here's the thing. You get rid of the minimum wage and people go, well, that'd be horrible. People wouldn't get paid. I said, no. You would have a lot of businesses go out of business because they're paying people shit wages and people wouldn't work for them. Okay? And the companies that are paying good wages for good work would continue to pay what they're paying. Nobody works for me gets minimum wage. Mm-hmm. You know, of course, you guys are 1099, so you just get paid cash, but not cash. You get a check, but it's. Point being, I've never paid anybody the minimum amount of money. I paid them based on their skill and ability.
I was just going to say, I believe you should be paid on what you're worth.
Exactly.
Like, what you do in the company depends on how much you get paid.
Which is it completely anathema to a minimum wage scale. A minimum wage scale says this is the governmentally required minimum that I can pay you to do this work.
Well, and
This is what the government says you should get. This is what you're getting.
yeah,
Yep.
and they're trying to determine what is a fair amount. And again, we go back to what you know and what you don't know. And maybe it's fair for somebody just starting and learning, but it certainly isn't fair for somebody who knows what they're doing and can take care of it.
I also believe that as your skill grows, your pay should also increase.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Because you're gaining the knowledge to know what you're doing. You should deserve to get paid more for what you're doing.
Well, and a smart business person gives ownership to their people. So, because if you don't give ownership, like you guys are out on a job and you have a specific, he's saying, okay, this is what I need you to do today. That's your ownership.
Right.
When you get all done, you're the one who stands proud or embarrassed, whether you did a really good job or you didn't do a good job. But it's your job. It's not his, because he told you what to do. The whole thing is his, but it's your performance. And that's something that we don't, if I got a worker and he performs half as good as my other guy,
Half-assed?
yeah, then I look at him and go, you know what?
You're half-assed.
I think, well, the basis for me would be, listen, you don't work like this guy does, so I'm going to give you half the time.
Yeah, and that's your only leverage sometimes is to give them half the time.
Exactly, because of what's going on.
Because the minimum wage says that you can't give them half the pay.
Right.
You can't say to them, okay, you're a tool.
And then now they have, and you can't tell me that you don't know who you work with, who knows the job and who doesn't.
Right.
You can't tell me that that's not apparent in a job. I had a guy who was an older gentleman, and he, oh yeah, I do computers, I can do this and I can do that, and I put him on the register, and he couldn't do squat. He couldn't even, the guy didn't know how to scan, for God's sakes. My babies have been doing it since they were 3. He couldn't scan. And it's like, but because he was an older gentleman, it was like thought to be given that he should, get a higher wage. And it was like, guess what? He got the boot.
Yeah.
Because I can't have somebody in my employ that can't do the job.
Exactly.
Period. And so who can do the job, who can't do the job. And actually, you should be able to pay them accordingly.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, the businesses that do pay people accordingly, they prosper both ways. Their employees are happy.
Well, there was an employee just recently, and I don't know if it was a tech company or whatever, but the guy who owned it, he was making the big bucks, and his people were making, but they weren't making a living wage. And he reassessed it and said, hey, I don't have to have all this money. And he came to their level and lifted their level up so that everybody was making the same living wage, and the performance in his company went through the roof.
Absolutely.
Because he gave ownership to his people.
Well, a lot of people cite Henry Ford and the assembly line as one of his biggest achievements is the implementation of the assembly line, and they could make cars so fast. But the reality was the assembly line was second to his philosophy that everybody that worked for him received. He said, I want everybody who works for me to be able to buy the products that we make.
That's the concept, isn't it?
And he instituted, you got to get that.
I got a what?
Ant.
Oh, here's a big one.
Anyways, but that's what he instituted. He instituted that wage that would allow his own people to buy the product that they're making. And the way that so that was his main philosophy. Then the assembly line facilitated that because he could make the cars more efficiently, faster. Therefore, he could put them out. He didn't have to charge as much for the products because he could put out 100 cars and make a real small percentage on each car, which made a lot of money. Instead of only having one or two products. That's why your most expensive vehicles are either handmade or they're boutique auto manufacturers, because they're only making so many that the quality and how many there are
quantity
brings the price up.
Right.
And so when you have thousands of these vehicles coming off, then the price goes down. And his philosophy was, I want my people, all of my employees, to be able to purchase this themselves. That's a main philosophy. Hannah was saying something really good over here. She said, I would rather make minimum wage or less than minimum wage and be treated fairly than make above minimum wage and be treated like trash, just like I was in my last job.
And that's a huge statement, because it's just like our government. Some people get into the position of power in a workforce, and they think that you owe them, and so therefore you have to do what they say. I mean, Nicole is a prime example,
right,
of being in a position where she's not being treated fairly.
Yep.
She called down and said, hey, I need a bathroom break.
And they wouldn't give it to her.
And it took them 35 minutes to come to relieve her. Okay? That just doesn't work. That's just wrong. 35 minutes when you wait and it's only one phone call, you've been on the floor for whatever, 3 hours, 3.5 hours or whatever, and you can't get somebody to come within 5 to 10 minutes. I'm sorry, that's abuse. So do I want to work for that company that doesn't take care of me? Do I want my granddaughter to work for a company that doesn't take care of her? No. I don't want to work for somebody who's like that. I said one thing that people don't understand, they just don't grasp, is, you know what? That you can find a job. You found the job you have. I can guarantee you, if you look, you can find a different job. And you don't have to be treated wrong. That's abuse. That's like
plain and simple.
It is. So basically they're saying, too bad you have to go to the bathroom. And I've listened to her have this issue with 3 different places in the daycare field. And I think, they want them to take ownership of their classrooms and these kids and everything like that. And yet there's no support. That's support.
That's ridiculous.
That's when I want to go to the bathroom, I don't want to wait 30. The one time she had to wait an hour and a half and finally was able to go to lunch before she got the bathroom break.
That's ridiculous. That's abusive.
I told her, I said, you grab them children that you're responsible for, get them all, get a little train going, and I said, you walk them right down to the office, and you say, I gotta go to the bathroom, and here's the kids. I'll be right back.
Exactly.
I'm sorry if that offends somebody, but it pisses me off that you can't even do a bodily function without a problem.
Right.
There should be no issues. Hey, I got to go to the bathroom. Okay, I'll be right down. That's how it should happen in any business.
Yep.
Because, and especially because you know that person works hard for you and doesn't abuse it. You know, this is not every 10, 20, 30 minutes you got to go to the bathroom. No, this is like twice in a day.
Yeah.
It's just wrong. It's,
Well, I know there was one gal that she was working with that they did that too, and she literally shit her pants because they wouldn't let her go, and she had some issues, you know, where it's like when she had to go, she needed to go.
She was an older lady.
And I think that's complete and utter bullshit.
Well, and then she said, well, then they won't let you go home. And I said, oh, bullshit. There's no way. First and foremost, I would have a solution. My solution would be, here's the kids. You can't come to me. You got 5 minutes to come and relieve me, or I'll be down to your office with all the kids.
Right.
I don't play. You know, how many what do you call it? Infections has she had because of that? I know of 3.
Right.
UTIs because she wasn't able to go and relieve herself. It's not good for your body.
No.
And so that there in itself, if that manager would understand her support is so important to the profitable business.
Right.
Because if she supports her people, they will work hard for her. And if they work hard for her and they're on the front line, that business will succeed.
Absolutely.
So guess what? She's got people walking.
Well, and again, that's the whole thing. It's like, how much will you compromise for that paycheck? And, you know, at a certain point you learn, I love the fact that she's standing up and saying, I'm not going to, you know, put up with this shit and I'll go find another job. But sometimes in the midst of those jobs, when that is happening, people don't feel empowered because we've been conditioned to be wage slaves. That's a term.
Well, if you think of all the people who have been cheated out of overtime.
Yep.
They've been cheated out of breaks. They've been cheated out of, you know, I mean, they've been abused. They don't fight it because they don't know how to fight it or financially don't have that financial backing to go and get help to fight it. So guess what? Nobody is held accountable for this behavior.
Right.
And that's where I have a problem. So many people have been cheated out of their overtime, their breaks. Again, you know, it's ridiculous.
When you ran your store, you were profitable. Your store performed.
Yeah, we weren't a big money, but we were profitable every year.
And yet they were constantly fighting with you on your total hours that you could have people there, and then they expected you to fill in. So they're paying you a salary based on 40 hours. That was your salary, and yet you're working sometimes 60 hours. And I know managers in all various areas that they would work 60, 70, 80 hours. And I'm like, you're working based on a 40-hour salary, and you're in here 70, 80 hours. Well, if I don't come in and stuff doesn't get done. Well, then but because they're a slave to that money.
I had one of the guys in our district. He did that. He would work 60 hours, 72 hours or something like this. And it was like, oh, I had to do this and I had to do that. And I said, do you understand the precedence that you're setting? Because that precedence is saying that I can do all of this and I can get paid for 40 hours. But in reality, I have to put 20 to 30 hours more in. That's ridiculous.
Right.
So you're getting half of the amount that you actually get paid for the amount of hours you're working. So it's time for you to go, wait a minute.
What the hell, man?
What? Well, that's what I point blank in this was years ago, but I point blank said, what the hell are you doing? First and foremost, if you have a contract that says 40 hours, you work for this amount of money and it's for 40 hours and you work 70 hours, who gets screwed on this? Because it ain't the company.
And I can't believe those. That's what I'm saying is I won't work in that situation.
You know, you're getting screwed, and then you want to brag about it. You want to say, oh, well, you know, I came in. Please don't do that around me, because you're hurting all of us by setting this example, this precedence that, look, this guy's working, 60 hours, 70 hours, and look what he's doing, and he's done this and this and this. Well, guess what? I ain't working 60, 70 hours on a 40-hour paycheck.
And that company doesn't give two shits about those people.
Well, the problem is this is the biggest eye-opener that I had to put out there was, do you seriously understand that you are placing yourself in a position that they're going to suck
the life out of you.
Oh my God.
The life out of you.
They will suck the life right out of you. And then you'll go, well, I worked all these hours for you guys. And they'll go, bye-bye. Don't care.
Yeah, so did these 300 other people. They
Probably
run all
won't
of
even
our
get
other
the gold
stores.
watch.
No, of course not. No, they don't. As long as they can get out of you, they will take. And corporations, then that's what I'm saying. Corporations, because they're not on the playing field. So they're calling the shots. And they're going, oh, this guy's doing really good. Look at the profits in here. Oh, yeah. And he's running on this amount. And oh, yeah, he's doing really good. And in fact, he's not. It's fake. They're basing it on 40 hours and what his staff is working. But he's putting in 20 to 30 hours more a week. So even that data is incorrect. You understand that?
Yeah, absolutely.
The data's incorrect. If you put him at 40 hours, he's not going to get done what he's going to, as much. They took one store and said, we're going to give you an extra 40 hours to do some marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, okay, that's really great, right?
Right.
That's an extra 40 hours in the store that somebody can work on marketing.
Okay.
So that has nothing to do with the rest of the budget.
Right.
The rest of the payroll budget. Okay. And then they go, oh, this worked out. And she really built our business. Why aren't the rest of you doing it? Nobody else got
The
extra 40 hours to do it.
And they played it off like it was...
Oh, it pissed us all off.
Because they played it off like...
They acted like we should be doing it even though we didn't get that extra 40 hours.
So when did you find out? When did you find out that
what
they got paid the 40 hours?
Oh, when they gave her a trophy or a reward or a...
And then she spilled it?
No, they basically, we found out about it, and as a district, we were all supposed to be supportive of this gal. And I feel, and everybody else felt, that if we were given the same playing field of an extra 40 hours a week,
mm-hmm.
we could perform as well as she did.
Absolutely.
So do not compare. So when they brought her up out of our district to say, hey, kudos to you, you did really good on this business to business stuff, and it was really wonderful, and we're just really proud of you, and we want to honor you at this big conference and everything. The people who knew the truth,
they spilled it.
We couldn't clap for this girl.
Right.
Because we were pissed that was placed the way it was placed. Do not compare apples to oranges. They're two different things. Give me 40 hours, you know? But yeah, so none of us got that opportunity.
Right. Right.
But we were compared to her.
Of course. Of course.
And we were found lacking, so we have to honor her, you know? And
Oh
you
yeah,
did a great
she's
job.
She's the greatest.
Like,
Hannah's chimed in again and said she got yelled at for not doing someone else's job multiple times.
I love it.
She's not kidding, by the way.
I understand.
I was, I live with her. She's
Yeah.
my fiance, so I live with her, and I hear it every single day that she was there. And it was on multiple occasions that she got yelled at for not doing somebody else's job. Because they had asked her to do it, but she had her own job to do.
Right.
And later got yelled at by, I think it was the head of that business's branch that had yelled at her for not doing the other person's job that was asked to
Why
of her to
wasn't
do.
the other person doing the job? Their own job.
Don't know.
See, and that's all.
Because they were off doing something else.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the part that pisses you off.
Well, that's what they wanted us to do. They said, we want you to go out and market. Okay. But I have to cover the floor. My
Right.
store needs to be covered with help every single day that it's open. So when do I get the time to be able to go out and market? Well, guess what the answer was? On my own time.
Oh.
And therein lies that.
Gotta take this call.
Take your call.
Therein lies that 20 extra hours on my 40-hour paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can do it. When can I do it? Oh, well, you'll have to do it when you're off work.
Am I getting paid for it?
No?
Nope.
No, then I'm not doing it.
Thank you. It's exactly what I said. You know? And then you turn around and you give this other person 40 hours extra. Mm-hmm. So that means a 40-hour, I could hire 2 people to cover my store when I'm out for 40 hours, and I could do the marketing.
Right.
But they're not going to allow you to do that.
No?
Of course not.
No, they didn't allow anybody else to do it. And guess what? That store closed before my store closed, so.
The gal that got the 40 hours?
Yep. Her store closed before my store closed. But, and it
Karma's
all.
a bitch, I guess.
Well, she was a bitch. But yeah, it's all relative. People.
Yep.
Compromise. Can guarantee you, if you found a job.
Hey, look, it worked.
I got it working. Keep talking, Mom.
If you found a job, you can find another one.
Give me that ratchet.
You know?
Yeah, and
Oh,
that's
you mean
the thing.
the one I was playing with?
Yeah, that's the thing that we're talking about is people don't think that they can, get that other job, that they can succeed, that they can do that thing.
But sometimes that's when the tough stuff makes you do it. Like, you got to get tough because you got to take care of business, you know? So it's like when somebody pushes you, that's when you move.
Right.
Hannah got a new job, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Because she got pushed
Way too many times.
way too many times. And it was like, she probably never could make that person happy.
No,
No.
it didn't matter what she did.
Right.
She even, at one point, did the other person's job and hers
Right.
and still got yelled at for something else.
Sure, because a lot of managers, I've seen it. I promoted a gal to assistant manager, and she went psycho. She freaking went psycho. That's not a joke. She was like bossing everybody around and yelling at people and just in their face. And I went, whoa.
And her own personal manager for the spot she was in Didn't do anything to help the situation at all. Just kind of pretend like it wasn't happening at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't see it, didn't hear it. All
Didn't
the times that
want
she
to.
complained to that manager
Yep.
or the ones in that specific area she was in, when they were confronted by the bigger man, like the head boss.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, didn't happen. Don't know what you're talking about.
She said they felt it was too much to handle by themselves, and because I was asked to help, I should have dropped what I was doing to run over and do her job.
Is that, I'm sorry. They expected, yeah. And again, ownership. Now Hannah, who's probably a really good worker, doesn't work for them anymore.
Let's just say this.
Yeah.
The days she worked, that place in the store ran phenomenally. Mm-hmm. The days she didn't work, it was a disaster, and they were asking her if she could come in.
Sure.
And then she quit.
On her days off.
Yeah, and then she quit. And I think it was either yesterday or the day before, they were 3 hours behind on stuff that should have been done the day before.
Right.
So,
And they told her she wasn't doing enough.
point blank, they were taking advantage of her skill set.
Absolutely.
And they were going, oh, you know what? This little girl, she can handle this job too. So we're going to get her. And they're pushing. And that's what the American way is.
And she wasn't even a manager, and she was going psycho.
Yeah. That's just.
And that's the
It was getting to the point where it was almost getting hard to, I'm not going to say hard to live with, but to the point where I almost went in personally and quit for her.
right.
Yeah.
Because it was getting to the point where
She's
it
so
was
stressed out. She's coming home.
and nagging about everything
Right.
and making everything my problem and that I did everything wrong. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as she quit that job, it all dissipated.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Everything stopped happening. Life was as it was before.
Yeah. I told Nicole I was
And
going
she found the job that she absolutely loves doing now.
Nice.
And everything is hunky-dory.
Yeah, I told Nicole I was going to come in, dress up as a executive lady and be her lawyer and say, hey, listen.
We understand that.
We understand that there's an issue here, and I would like to address it today, that you are not giving my client bathroom breaks in a timely fashion, which is
fair treatment.
It's illegal. It's illegal. To not give a person a break and after 2 hours of work, you should get a break to go pee, 15 minutes, to get a snack, to get a drink, to get some,
They're required by law to give you a break every 2 hours.
Exactly. And so it's like, what do we have to do to get people to treat one another kindly?
And also, speaking of the whole break thing, at Hannah's old job, she was given a break every 2 hours. Mm-hmm. But that didn't guarantee that she got a break every 2 hours. I can account on 3 or more days that she went 5 or 6 hours
Without
and
a
then
break.
got a lunch break.
Yeah.
And then carried out the rest of her shift with no other breaks.
She said they're still behind, and she put the laugh emojis on there.
And she had to beg at one point to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. And,
They just absolutely wouldn't
ridiculous.
let her. She at one point went to the bathroom and then didn't leave the bathroom for an hour.
And you know what's
Because she was like, this is my time now.
right?
And she didn't care about the penalty that was coming later because she didn't get one all day long. She
No,
got
and
lunch,
it's-
which was half an hour.
Right. And it's so wrong because this in itself is how you create an atmosphere of negativity.
Well, and they
And
don't,
I don't care what kind of business you're in. That is not a good environment.
and they don't realize that the people don't realize that the people who stay there and are the shitty workers are the ones who are empowering those businesses to keep abusing the good workers.
Yeah.
They're the root of that evil because they're loving that silver paycheck and doing just enough to not get fired. And the people who don't love the paycheck, because if you're not going after a paycheck, for the sake of just getting the money, but you actually care. Whatever business you're working on.
And you like your job.
You like your job. You know, I guarantee you Hannah would not have had as much of an attitude or had as much pressure put on her and as much stress if she didn't give a shit about the job.
Well, obviously the one girl
But
that
because
she
she-
had to do her job didn't give a shit.
Right. She cared
Yeah,
about
and they made it Hannah's problem.
Yeah,
she
how's
cared
that
about the job in
possible?
such a way that it caused her to be stressed about that job. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Bubby's chiming in. Says, hi, Grandma.
Hey, Bobby. Love you.
Hey, Bubby.
Love you. Love you.
So, yeah. So let's move on to some other stuff. You guys ready?
Yeah.
That was a good discussion.
What you call?
Well,
Where you wanna
let's
go?
let's talk about Vince. You wanna go after? Do we want to do the Amish raid first? Because that's still in line a little bit with them. These guys getting a paycheck for raiding the Amish. And we can just do that real quick.
Yeah, we can do that. We could tie in the IRS videos that came out.
The information blurb
Oh,
thing
the-
right in the freaking way.
IRS agents going out and arresting people.
I know. Yeah.
Like, you're
Yeah.
under arrest.
Well, we know that we've talked about it, that they're hiring 87,000 new IRS agents. And one of the things they're advertising about that is that you'll be able to go out with gun in hand to collect this. And I go, these fucking people are going and getting a job. They want that fucking paycheck and they don't care anything about it. How can you work? You know, the people that call me, I had one call me today. The people that call me every day from various places. Oh, can I speak to the business owner?
And it's amusing to watch the aftermath.
Isn't it fun? And he's like, is this the business owner? And I said, sure, buddy. What do you got? You know? And he says, well, this is, I think his name today was, I think it was Steve.
It is American Steve.
And I said, Steve, I said, is that your real name, buddy? Because you sure as shit don't sound like a Steve. And he started, and when you call them out sometimes, they'll just drop the script and just go, you know, they start.
Person to person.
No, yes, but they go, well, you don't sound like real. I am real person. You don't sound like real person. I'm like, dude, fuck off. Anyways, there's been a number of times on those ones where I've kind of gotten a little bit, you know, not playing with them, but getting a little bit serious. And I go, how can you work this fucking job?
Little carried away.
How can you work a job like this? And they hang up, you know. But I'm like, how can you work a job like that and then sleep at night? You're nothing but a scam artist on here. Who cold calls people and expects them to take up a loan? Oh, your business has been approved. And half the time I'll go, oh, my business has been approved. What business is it? And there's a long pause because they got to look it up on their fucking screen to know what actually their business they're looking at.
Half the time they don't. They want you to tell them. They want you to spill the beans.
And I'm
Well,
like,
for some countries, that's an actual job.
oh, I know.
You have to
Oh,
fill out
yeah.
an application for.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm like, how can you work
I mean,
this?
it's a quick dime, and that's all they're
Scam
there
call.
for.
Exactly. But that's a soul. It's like, it's, there's so many jobs I could start pointing out.
It's soul sucking, to say the least.
Exactly. And I'm like, how can you work at such a light, you know, you're calling up and being deceptive. When they call me up and they tell me your business has been pre-approved and your business has been pre-approved and there is no down payment and no collateral required and so can I ask how much money are you looking for?
I didn't call
Okay.
you, buddy.
American
I think you got
Steve.
one of those calls during a work site, and you said 8 mil.
Oh, I do that. That's one of my go-tos. I go, I need $8 million. Can you have it in my account tomorrow? Well, I can see what we can. No, I need it tomorrow. It's $8 million.
Yeah, you called me.
And then they go, well, how much is your monthly payroll? And I go, no, you said I was pre-approved, no collateral.
Yeah, how
I
many-
want 8
you
million
should
in my
tell
bank
'em,
account tomorrow.
How many people have you taken advantage of today?
Right. The other one that I'll say to them is they go, how long how do they say it? Because they say it in broken English.
American Steve.
Can I know? That's what it is. So Jeremy, can I know how many years business has been in you've been operating the business? And when they ask me that one,
Yeah.
A lot of times I'll go long enough to know that I would never take anything from somebody who cold calls me and acts like they're somebody they're not. Click. I said I do get calls from numbers that are legitimate.
My favorite one is take me off your fucking call list.
I do that on a regular basis too.
Well, because it's so annoying because you know they're scams.
Exactly.
And even if they're not scams, I don't want to talk to you. I didn't call you. I'm a proponent for if I need help, I'll find you.
You know what the best part is? This whole time we've been here at the barn, not a single scam call. But as soon as we hit the work site,
That's when
there's
they hit.
10 or 15.
Yeah.
I very rarely get them in the evening, but
It's
I have had a
always
few,
when you're busy.
yeah. Well, and they'll
They're
call
like,
me.
Oh, he's at work right now. He's probably working so
I've
hard.
had a couple of them. They call me at 7 or 8 at night,
You want 8 million?
and I'll answer it, and they'll go, "Yeah, hello, this is business owner there." And I'm like, "Who are you looking for?" And I go, and they'll say their little thing, and I'll go, "Dude, I'm eating dinner with my family. Fuck off." And they go, "Well, but and sometimes they won't even listen."
Oh no, because
So how long
they
maybe
get
have you
paid
been in
for the
business?
calls. You know, they get paid for each and every call that they make, regardless of the outcome. That is their incentive.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they get paid by the call. I think they get
No,
paid
they-
by how long they're on the call, too, though.
So they get paid for the call
Yeah.
and
And
how
then by
long they're
how
on the
long
call.
they're on the call.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
go, what is really going on here? Because I find it very hard to believe that anybody actually tries, unless you're desperate. And if you're desperate, you're just buying into their scam anyways. But I'm like, does anybody actually believe you and take you up on this?
My favorite people are the ones that scam the scammers.
Absolutely. And so I'm wondering, I'm like, are you actually calling me with legitimate funds at 35% interest that you want to lend me? Or are you just trying to get enough information out of me so that you can drain my bank account?
Yep, that's exactly where it's at.
Well, we would need your routing number. Mm-hmm. And maybe I need to go down that road once with them. But then I'll be on all their fucking lists.
Oh gosh, all you have to do is buy a house or sell a house, and it's like your name is popped up everywhere. It's like
Not even
really?
just that, just pay insurance.
There you go. Yeah. What?
Al says he keeps getting a bunch of calls wanting to buy my mom or my house. Who wants to buy your mom, Al?
Oh no.
That's his handle is Al and Roman.
Yeah, romance.
Al and Roman. I like that one.
Nice.
How are we coming through on the Twitch over there? He's chimed in on the Twitch. Oh, dropped my glasses.
Oh, there.
But it's staying. It was staying for a minute. You know what? I loosened up the things in there,
Yeah.
the cables in these, because these microphones weren't heavy enough. You know how you guys are like. Then I put this on there, and it's just dropping. I'm like, all right, now I got to actually tighten up the cable so that I can balance it. So I got my glasses stuck in there. Luckily, I don't need to read. So raid on the farm.
Already got it pulled up?
Okay. Let's read a little bit of. Scroll to the. You got the title of it?
Yep.
There we go. Amish farm under threat from U.S. federal government for refusing to abandon traditional farming practices.
Refusal to abandon traditional farming practices. How can you
Is that going to be a new freaking charge?
do that?
So the federal government came in, they charged them with $300,000 of fines. They gave them $300,000 of fines.
Yeah, and they said you're not complying.
You're not complying with FCC
And
rules.
look at the picture. Nate, roll it back down. Look at the picture of the traditional farm. They're going to, honest
Not
to
even
Pete,
using machinery.
They don't use gasoline. They
Those
don't
are
use
horses.
What
Yeah.
was it? Was it
The dude's
4,000?
just standing there in the beating sun all day long.
Was it
harvesting his crops.
4,000? Wasn't it 4,000 families or 4,000 people
Yeah.
that they take care of? And they call it a co-op. It's a large co-op, but they call it a co-op. What's that say?
I love co-ops.
I can't move it out of the boxes.
I know, the stupid thing on the side. What does it say? 30,000? Or, no, what does it say? Bird in Hand, Pennsylvania has been around.
4,000 private food club members who
Food
pay
club members.
top dollar for high-quality Whole Foods.
Absolutely.
Yeah, raw milk, organic.
Yeah, and when they say organic, they literally mean organic.
Grass-fed beef.
Grass-fed
Right.
beef. In fact,
Grass-fed beef, cheese, and raw milk and organic eggs.
yeah, and they're talking about it from the standpoint of when they're talking organic, they literally mean organic. I heard the guy's interview.
They eat the grass that grows on the pasture, any of the bugs that are in the pasture.
Right, and they
When-
don't use the pesticides and the herbicides.
The leftover
and the...
food from their food that they eat.
And when you do it correctly, you don't even have to plant. You just rotate your. Vince and Al and I have all been looking at a lot of this.
$300,000 in fines.
In fines because they're not. It's like, dude, you people are.
A request so steep it would put the farm out of business.
Yeah, and who are these people that, for a paycheck, went in and did this? Where's your conscience? These people weren't hurting you. They weren't. This is a closed system. 4,000 people agreed with this farmer in this co-op to buy his products and take whatever risk you think that they're going to whatever risk they might face.
Infer?
No, engender and I couldn't think of the word. Might be engender. It's just not coming to me. Anyways, whatever risk that they're going to face, that's their own choice. They entered into an agreement. It's a co-op. And the federal government's coming in there and being a bunch of assholes. Read it, Nate.
Making it even more independent, Miller's farm also doesn't use gasoline or fertilizer, and therefore the war between Ukraine and Russia isn't affecting his bottom line, unlike every other farming competitor in the country.
Exactly.
And this is the guy they chose to take out today.
Well, yeah, because
Somebody
he's
who
what we
isn't
really
going-
think is the American way.
Right.
But they're completely destroying his religion. He's Amish. That's their religion, is to not use technology. No fertilizer.
Yep.
No gasoline. Completely horse and buggy. And he's probably not even making the $300,000 in fines they've now charged him with to even pay back. Yes, it's organic food, but the Amish always sell everything at a decent price. They never scam anybody with anything.
No, and they use their...
And they stick to what they say. What they say is a promise.
Yep.
And this is the guy they've chosen to go after. When does it stop? It's only going to go up from here.
Oh, it should stop when the people who raided there went, you know what? This could be us. We need to not do this.
They've already gone after one of the Amish.
Yeah.
There's how many Amish in the United States?
Well, that's the
Are they
thing.
going to hit every single one?
Absolutely.
Well, probably right now they're making this an example.
And their example isn't going to stop them because they're not going to see it. They don't use technology. No TV, no phones. The only way they're ever going to hear about this entire thing happening is word of mouth.
Well, yeah, and it was Rebel News that came down and covered it. That's the website we're looking at. But that's the issue with the Amish, and I don't agree with their overall rejection of all technology, but one of the things that I absolutely love them, they reject modern medicine as far as jabs, and
They don't do any of that.
they don't do any of that stuff. And most of them do
It's
not.
against their religion to believe in that kind of
They
stuff.
don't have social security numbers. They don't pay. They don't do the tax thing, like income tax. They pay each other cash and they operate that way. They may pay their property taxes, but they operate pretty much under the rate. Not even under the radar. They operate out in the open, but their system is set up differently, and that there's a lot of it. I was listening to somebody the other day, and they were saying that the amount of people going Amish, like just deciding to become Amish, is on the rise because people are realizing it's a more, it's a simpler life, and there's a lot less government shit.
It's sustainable.
And so you've got these government people that are stepping in there and are trying to fuck them over.
Well, I found, on branching off of that, I found another paragraph that's a good one to read.
Go ahead.
Miller isn't dependent on big industry players or the government, and he's providing healthy food to his community the way he believes God intended. The government is trying to intimidate his operation and shut it down.
Yeah. That's exactly what's going on.
And so far, they've accomplished that.
Well, to a certain extent. It depends on who's going to rally to them, and I hope there's some good lawyers out there that rally to them, because a good lawyer will take that case and blow it out of the water. Because,
But for something the government did like this, do you think there's going to be a riot for it?
No.
Absolutely not.
No. Honorable people don't riot. They try and fight it in the courts. They try and reason with the assholes who show up with the guns and try to shut them down. I guarantee you there was armed police or armed federal agents that showed up to pull this shit. Guarantee it.
I guarantee it as well. And if he finds a good lawyer, I think he's going to pull through and win this thing.
Well, he's got.
There's no way he can't.
Here's the thing.
He's also got 4,000 people who will take his side.
Exactly. They've got. That's a small fucking
He's got the
army,
numbers.
dude. You got 4,000 people that is part of his co-op. How many more people?
Well, he's also got the entire Amish community who will damn well stand behind him.
Exactly. And I know this has been done. They've had these attacks before. I've looked at it. I don't do well with regular milk and some of the other products. Okay.
Me either. You're not alone.
But the reality is, if we were drinking raw milk, unpasteurized, unhomogenized raw milk, you won't have those. You won't have those issues.
Well, I was telling Vince today on the work site, Al needs to get some goats.
Absolutely.
Get some goat's milk going.
Yeah.
Because that's even healthier for you than cow's milk is.
Exactly.
Especially unpasteurized.
Exactly. And that's what they're afraid of. The government they want their nose in every fucking thing. And we just got to start standing. It's when you keep pushing like this, we're going to stand up. We're not going to stand up and do the initial move. We're not gonna, as Alex Jones likes to say, and he's quoting somebody. It's like, if you want to fight, you better believe you've got one. I don't want to fight with you, but you showed up at a fucking guy's place who's helping 4,000 people have entered into a free market agreement with him. And this didn't come about because somebody in that community complained. There wasn't one of these it doesn't say anything about somebody in that 4,000 people going to the government complaining that they got sick or they got this or they got that. Nobody.
No,
This
you
came
don't
about
get sick from
Exactly.
pure organic food.
You don't.
There's no chemicals in it. There's nothing that could ever possibly get you sick.
That raw milk, it could be tainted. No. If you do it properly and you actually honor.
And these guys have been doing it forever. And like they said, traditional farming.
With true pasteurized
milk
milk.
from the grocery store is tainted.
The only, you know why they
With
pasteurize?
true pasteurized milk, you could drink it straight from the teat. And you'd be fine.
Yeah, true whole raw milk.
Right.
Babies
Straight
did
from the-
it all the time.
Well, here's the thing. They brought in pasteurization and homogenization of milk to make it last longer on the shelf so they could transport it. But the other dirty little secret, the second reason they brought it in, was because when there's fecal matter and there's blood and there's all other disgusting things in the milk house that gets into the milk, they want to be able to kill all of that stuff too. So they just flash boil it and then send it over.
Something Vince said to me earlier is, you know why it's called 2% milk? Because it's
2%
milk.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like 98% water.
Exactly. How about the skim milk? What the fuck is that?
Water with a drop of milk.
Or 1% milk. Why do you think?
Water.
So
right.
This is how bad the government's got. If I wanted to, I have to literally enter into an agreement with somebody, buy a partial ownership of a cow in order to get raw milk from them. Now that's my own fucking choice.
Right.
That's my own risk. And yet the government's saying that I can't do it. But
I think all of us would gladly take that risk.
Absolutely. But we've done it all the way around. We've done it with the nanny states of the seatbelts and all the other stuff. It's like, if you don't want to wear a seatbelt, that's fine. You
Don't even get me started about the seatbelts. You know what the old cars had?
Nothing.
No seatbelts, nothing. You know what you did with your baby in an old car?
You let them sleep in the back
window. You put them in the
window.
seat and hope they don't fly out the fucking window.
Well, you let them. They would be running around the car. I ran around the car.
He used to stand on the front seat, and I'd have to do one of these numbers. That's where the mama arm comes from.
And airbags too.
And
airbags too. There was no airbags in an old car. If you hit something hard, you're going into the steering wheel, and that's
exactly.
it.
Yeah, I just read an article about that, and they were saying that just this year we have surpassed our fatalities in car wrecks.
I think that's because of the airbag.
Those year.
Those were all COVID.
Well, no, they were saying even when in 2020, when there wasn't a whole lot of people on the roads, people were still dying in car crashes. But
more than would ever die in the pandemic.
Now this is what really gets me.
I was going to say, I bet if you compare those numbers, the numbers in the car crashes are higher than COVID.
And the number of car crashes for people who are not affluent, lower income people are the ones who are dying in these car crashes. You know, and it's like,
because the doctor's not going to save them. They don't have money to fix it.
I just read it. It was ridiculous. And it was like, is it because of the technology and we're looking at our phones and not paying attention to the road?
Some of that.
And
I find that
I think that would be a very small percentage, though.
I find that you can discover how people are in life by watching them drive. Oh, you're a selfish fuck who doesn't really care about anybody because you'll cut people off and not pay attention. Or you're the type of person that'll stop and wave 3 people to pull in front of you.
I'm a very cautious driver.
I'm sorry, but I don't like Jeeps.
I know. We know, Mom. So Al had to clarify. I gotta catch up on the chat. Everybody's blowing it up now.
All right, cool.
Al said he said when he was texting or typed it in, he said, I'm getting a bunch of calls wanting to buy my mom or buy my house. He said, buy my mom's house.
Oh. I was gonna say.
He says, or he gets the ones where they call and say that your computer has a virus. Can you type in this command? I've never had that one.
What is it?
Where they call and say your computer has a virus.
Everything on it.
Can you type in this
and
command?
you type in the command and it wipes your computer?
It wipes everything on it. The hard drive clean, all the memory clean.
I've never got that one.
And if you do it wrong, it will actually instate viruses on your computer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he was commenting on the people. He says most of the times they say they do their heartless job for the pension. Yeah, well, when they collapse the economy, nobody's going to have a fucking pension. Just like the hope
How big do you think their pension really is? They make scam calls for a living.
No, he's talking about the people who work at these shitty jobs. They're working at them so that they can get that pension and retire.
You mean the term vanishing pension?
Vanishing pension
exists.
Yeah, it does. Exactly. And Tim's chiming in. Mr. Tim Allen is chiming in and said the Amish population in the U.S. numbers more than 360,000 is growing rapidly due to large family size, 7 children on average, and church number retention rate is approximately 80%. Yeah, and they're also bringing in people from outside because they're being attracted to that simpler lifestyle.
Screwed.
Rumspringer.
Al says, Amish be farming and boning like a mofo.
They be multiplying like rabbits.
Thank you.
Okay. That was nice.
He says, we ain't cows. It's a last resort to drink their milk. Yet that's what they push the most of. Wonder why. Actually, I've been listening to, and we've talked about it, but I was listening to some natural health guys the other day, and milk that is pasteurized and homogenized and they destroy the natural enzymes, that is bad. But when you go back to the biblical things, the cow eating the meat, drinking the milk, and a number of other things, the hides and things like that.
The bones for broth. And
the bones for broth. That is one of the most, it's pretty much the number one God-given animal for mankind to partake of all of the meat and the milk and all that stuff. We've been told, and I've heard a lot of natural people, they go, oh, that red meat. There are literal people out there that are doing just red meat diets, and their health is heavily improving, and then they reintroduce vegetables and stuff like that. And the people that I was listening to, it was on another podcast that I listened to their episodes. They were citing a whole bunch of stuff on there, and one of the things they were talking about was that you can only get certain nutrients from cow meat, good cow meat. They say, well, you can get it from here. You can get some protein from nuts. You can get some protein from here. You can get this thing. No, it's just like when they try to give you artificial sweeteners instead of sugar and act like it's healthier. Where the fuck did you get that artificial shit?
Oh, that's just, some runoff.
Yeah, exactly.
From aluminum.
Yeah, there you go.
Nuclear
Aluminum.
power plants.
Titanium.
Yeah.
Zinc.
Al says, it's like, why does food with chemicals added to it cost less than the natural products? Because they're substituting the natural thing. You can buy that the cheap honey that's made with high fructose corn syrup and a bunch of other shit. You can buy that cheaper than you can raw honey. And I was
because it costs them
less.
Nothing to go fucking scrape a sheet of drywall and get some white powder.
Right.
Versus going out and taking it off a plant.
Oh, that's what's in the skim milk is drywall powder.
Exactly. So it tastes like.
Just as an example, like compare that to like powdered sugar or something like that.
Right.
Where you actually had to go and get it through a natural process from a plant, refine it.
I've never had a big sweet tooth because I was a hyperactive kid, so people thought I shouldn't have sugar when it was artificial colors and flavors from being jabbed when I was a kid. Mom had to figure that out. But I've never had a big sweet. I've never had a big sweet tooth. Now I keep a little jar of candy, but the most that I eat candy is when we go to the movie theater. I'll take candy, but that's less. I do have certain candies that I like when I go to the movie theater, but eating the candy while I'm in there and eating the popcorn while I'm in there, and I like popcorn outside of movies. But when I go to the movie, we have a little ritual. We take our bags of candy and we take our buckets and we fill them up and we get butter in them and everything like that. That's more. For me, those are the candy and the popcorn I enjoy, but the reality is it's because I'm in a specific environment and I need something to periodically do. I'm the type of person that I'm doing, 2, 3, 4, 5 things at a time. And when I go into a movie theater, or more, I'm doing multiple things at a time and I need to have certain little distractions, right? I'm thinking about the next thing on that computer. I'm looking over here. I'm switching this. I'm doing that. Now, some of these things I would like to alleviate from my focus, but at the same time, I thrive in that. So when I go to a theater and I can't have my laptop in front of me playing solitaire while I periodically look up at the screen and I need to focus on the screen, then having some popcorn and a little bit of candy in my lap and eating a popcorn while I'm doing it still gives me an activity. It still gives me another thing to do while I'm staring at the screen watching a movie that I've never seen before and trying to take it all in. That's also why when I walk out of a movie, Vince and I, Grandma knows this, can walk out of a movie and recite, a good portion of the movie that we just saw because we are in an environment where we have to focus. It's like we paid the money to come in here and watch this. And the only thing I'm doing is putting popcorn, which doesn't take a visual cue. I can reach my mouth with that popcorn without having to look down at it. And so you just zero in. And so all of those 3 and 4 tracks of multitasking are now featuring that. I mean, I remember we went and saw, what was it, 1917? Was that the number? Yeah, 1917. Phenomenal movie. I think it was just you and I, wasn't it? Late night.
Yeah.
And we're watching this movie, and it was great. It's a phenomenal movie. And both of us, about
We're like 20
12,
minutes in.
20 minutes in, we're both like, dude, is this
Do you see him cut yet?
is this one continuous shot?
We're like, have they cut
This is-
anything yet?
And we're just intensely watching. We're watching the action. It's a new movie, but we're like, dude, this is one continuous shot. And I know that the vast majority of people that went in there didn't get that. It came out, later. They brought it out as, hey, this, they shot it like one continuous shot. They put in months of rehearsals so that they could shoot it as one continuous shot. Now, they didn't actually shoot it as one continuous shot. There are cuts in the movie, but they're in spots that you don't see the cut. It looks as if it shot one continuous scene all the way through. There's only 2 times that in the movie, is it 2 or 3? I think it's 2. There's an explosion at one point, and so everything's clouded in dust. Clearly, you can make a cut there. You can reset everything. You can do the next day. There's a second
When
one.
he gets knocked out.
The second one where he gets shot. It hits his helmet, and he falls back and gets knocked out, and everything goes black, and then he wakes up. That's a clear cut, but at the same time, the guy's falls into the river. He's floating down the river. He goes over the waterfall, and the camera's literally follows him while he's walking or running, follows him when he falls into the river, and he's in this really wide river, and it's on him. Okay? And then he goes over the waterfall, and it follows him over the waterfall. And then it's following him as he's crawling up onto the shoreline. And it's following. I'm like, holy shit. It's a badass movie just from that standpoint. The story's awesome in and of itself, but it was a badass movie from that standpoint. And so when we got it, when it came out on Blu-ray, Vince and I were glued, and we're watching this, and we're like, what was it? There was like at least a couple hours of behind the scenes footage of how they shot everything. And there's a scene at the end of the movie, and they're doing the scene, and the main character's running, and he trips. And he gets back up, and one of the soldiers that's in queue that's coming up out of the foxholes, the trenches, runs into him, and they just kept shooting. And so when you see the scene in the movie, it looks like it was supposed to happen, but literally he ran it.
They just kept filming.
They just kept filming, and what's crazy is you saw how they took, and they're walking at the beginning of the movie. They're walking down the trenches, and they're following the guy in the trench. And then they get to a certain point, and he gets caught in a crowd, and the cameraman keeps going and then spins around, and now he's in front of the guy as he's walking towards him. And just the perspectives and all that stuff is just like, it was badass. But my whole point was
Candy.
Don't eat a lot of candy. But I do some raw sugar now in my latte.
Oh, yeah, there.
Yeah. So let's see. I had to finish up with a few more Alice's. Since the COVID started, people started driving like even bigger idiots. I agree with you. And
it's like once this whole thing happened, everybody forgot about 1, manners, and 2, how to fucking drive.
Well, I will say this, and you guys give me some feedback on this. I think because they're wearing masks, they are oxygen deprived, and they just are fucking delirious as they're driving. How about that?
Oh, you're not wrong.
No, I think there's a lot of narcissistic people who are in a hurry, and you have to get out of their way. And case in point, on the way over here, this guy gets in front of
fucking Jeep.
No, he wasn't a Jeep. He was just a little Dinkeldorf of his car was like a light blue, little tiny, like a Fiesta, but it wasn't a Ford. But it was that size, like the smaller. But invariably,
Fiat.
there was 3 lanes, and we're all traveling basically the same speed because the highway's full. And he races up to hit his brakes.
How's that, asshole?
That's what I said. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? So then he spins in front of me, because he's in a hurry.
Right.
It's his, But he
Gotta go.
But the thing that gets me is then he had to get back in the lane he was in because he had to get off. And I'm like,
those guys are just
seriously,
phenomenal.
what was the point of that?
How's that, asshole?
I was like, dude,
what the
I need
fuck?
signs, you know?
Right.
Asshole, dumb shit.
Learn to
Putain
drive.
d'ignorance. Putain d'ignorance.
You dumped in your horse.
No, you dumped in your
You dumped in your horse.
You just got a
Compounding
little.
albums.
We need a sign too that says "Who's shitting your Cheerios?"
Exactly.
All right, I just have to say,
First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face!
That's beat.
yeah,
You know, an Anglo-Saxon is beat your own face.
beat your own face. Yeah,
Beat
exactly.
against your own face, dumb shit.
Yeah.
New shit has come to light. And shit, man.
If you're offended by this show,
Please leave.
And if you don't like it,
Don't please. We don't want to know.
Tell your friends because they'll probably like it.
Yeah, we don't want to know.
where's it at? What's it called?
You have to use so many cuss words.
Nope, that wasn't it.
What the fuck are you talking about?
what the fuck are you talking about?
Ah, there it is. If you're offended by this show, and please don't bother to tell us. And
fuck you if you don't like it.
so there we go.
Oh
with
yeah,
that
you
one.
got
That's
that
right.
new one
Yeah,
last
yeah.
time.
Yeah, that was Tim. Tim's hooked us up on a number of them.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah.
Oh, where's that one at?
Yes.
There's no S. It's all.
No.
Yes. That's a great movie.
That's a great movie.
That's too
The
funny.
Matrix. We like all that shite. So let's get into some real stuff. Let's see. It's the UF button.
The UF.
Nate, do you know what he's talking about?
No.
The UF.
UF. Oh, he was telling me that. Oh, he's telling me on here it's the UF button. Tim's telling me that. Tim, did you try to chime in on the Discord? Because I still don't know how to fucking use it.
He's missing a group. Last time there was 2, and now there is 1.
I don't know if he's trying to chime in or if he's just watching their FU dyslexic. UF. Okay. Let's see. Hannah agreed with Al. She's laughing, or she's agreeing with that. If you, like they're scared to be out since COVID and in such a hurry, they're scared, stupid sheep. I agree with you.
Maybe
Al.
they should go back fucking home.
Right. Mr. Graham likes to point out that organ donors die in car accidents more than non-organ donors.
That guy's an organ donor.
I wonder
Okay,
why.
seriously? That's
Triggered
like,
a vehicle to pull out in
wow.
front of him.
You signed your organ donor card, so
Wow,
we
Jeff,
let you die.
That was like, yeah.
Now I regret my decision for
Unbelievable.
signing my organ donor card.
There you go. And especially if you don't have any money, Nate. Because they take
I'm fucked.
You know,
They don't pay you.
I signed my organ donor card. I don't have any money, and I'm Asian.
oh, you're Asian?
Triple threat.
Watch out for
Holy
the
shit.
white vans, man.
Oh, man.
And the Jeeps.
And the Jeeps. Listen, when I started calling out the Jeeps, it was not intentional, but I swear to you, every one of them that cut me off or did something stupid, and I'm like, what are you doing? It was a Jeep. It was a Jeep, and it was a Jeep. Every single time. And my friends were in my car seeing what I was saying. I'm like, oh my God. They go, what's that guy doing? And I'm like, no, just look at the car, what kind it is. And they're like, oh, I don't like Jeeps either. So I have a couple friends who agree. Jeeps are not good. They're just...
Al's blowing up the chat. I love it. You're going to have
Good.
to come on the show, my son. You might have to go in a little bit late the next day because we go till the wee hours, but he's chiming in.
Oh, yeah, we do.
He says what kills him is when they rush up to a red light and then move a few inches at a time when the light's still red. Just inching.
Because they're in a hurry.
You know what?
It makes me crazy. It's like, why don't you leave 10 minutes earlier?
Around this area, driving it so much, like coming back and forth every week.
Yeah.
I've started timing the red lights.
Oh, yeah, you can. I count them.
Right.
Like, I used to go down Ford Road, and I know that there's 30, a count to 30, usually on each green light.
Right.
And on the turn light, it's 10. So if you go 1, 2, and to 10, then it'll turn back. It'll yellow. And I used to make all the lights.
Right.
Because you just got to learn.
You got to learn the timing.
You got to learn the timing. So 45 is the speed limit. But if you go about 47 to 48, you can hit every single light perfectly on Ford Road. And you can do it with traffic if the traffic isn't dumb.
And it's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
Because 45 plus 5 is 50.
Yeah, and I said
Anything
47.
in between is legal speed.
Yep.
I'm going to turn on the team viewer over here, Tim, so you can do it.
What is it?
He said he can't seem to get me to click on the right icon and voice channel in Discord. You do need to give me a film tutorial.
I even looked. I didn't see it in there, Tim.
He said there's no channel. He said there's no channel message. He says MEH. What the hell does that mean?
Meh. Like
Meh.
he's disappointed.
I thought it was
with
an acronym
It
for
means
he's disappointed with you. Meh.
because the what's the shaking my head is
SMH.
SMH. Yeah, I thought.
And
he says he's still
man.
busy. That's fine, buddy. I just thought you chimed in over here, so I was trying to accommodate your chime. But if you're busy and you're just hitting the chat every once in a while, that's cool.
So if you drive a Jeep and you're listening to this, no offense to you, but your Jeep's screwed. Don't keep it away from my car. That's all I'm asking.
Al said he drives a stick or drove a stick, so he's used to coasting to a light and then keeping his foot on the brake at the red light. He said he notices the minivans and the Hyundais are the worst aggressive drivers.
Hyundai.
The fucking Hyundais.
Really bad.
Now, I was inching up on somebody the other day because I had the trailer.
Mine is a freaking Camaros.
Yeah.
Really?
Every time.
I had the trailer on, heading to the job site, and I'm like at the light, and I'm just, thinking about the job, thinking about other things. And I'm like, is that dude rolling back towards me? And then I realized I was inching towards him, and because I had the trailer and I needed to push the brakes down a little further. Yeah.
Oh.
Because when you got the trailer on there, it's quite a bit of weight pushing the truck. So yeah. He says Mr. Allen says he's multitasking. It's all good, buddy. Nobody chiming in over there on the book face? Facebookers?
No, it's our.
Okay, we're getting good chats over there. Anyways, all right, let's shift into what Vince wanted to talk about.
Yeah, what the is
because we talked
it?
about the local radio having their weather
paperwork?
sponsored by Big Pharma. Huh?
You got the paperwork?
Go to and you can close out the other ones that we've used. Don't close that one. I gotta have that one. I gotta have that one. No, go to tab the first leaf tab.
Each one?
Yeah, you want the Vax carpet bombs or do you want the other one? Go to the next leaf. Scroll up a little bit to the title of the article. Exclusive natural news releases post-vaccine clot IP. You can spread that one out. I think this is the one you wanted, Vince.
Is that it?
Scroll it down a little bit so we can. Or actually, I'll just turn the key off. Nope, go back up to the top title. This is what I found that he was referring to. Go ahead and read it in your best
commentator voice.
Best commentator voice.
Exclusive. Natural news releases post-vaccine clot ICP-MS elemental analysis results. Comparing clots to human blood. Findings reveal these clots are not blood clots.
Not.
But they're found in people.
Right. Go ahead.
Natural news, we are now releasing ICP-MS lab test results that compare the elemental composition of human blood to the elemental composition of a clot sample taken from the body of a person who received a COVID vaccination and then subsequently died. The clot was provided by embalmer Richard Hirschman, and these clots are being widely reported in the bodies of people who have died suddenly in the weeks or months after receiving one or more COVID vaccinations.
Oh, Al wanted us to clarify that it's not a blood clot. It is a mostly peaceful gathering of cells.
Dead.
No,
cells.
it's
the cells are
it's
not living,
but they're not clotting. That would be a conspiracy It's a mostly peaceful
It's not a
gathering of
cult.
cells.
It's just
it's a gathering.
like urethane,
It's just a gathering.
rubber bands.
Yeah, mostly peaceful though. Mostly peaceful.
Yeah.
Mostly peaceful, not detrimental to your life. Okay, go ahead.
According to rigorous analysis based on excess death data, summarized nicely by Steve
data?
Kirsch at Substack, there are currently around 10,000 people dying each day from COVID vaccines.
Not true. Fake news.
Anywhere from 5 to 12 million fatalities have likely occurred worldwide so far. And with these self-assembling clots continuing to gain size and mass inside the bodies of those who have received the mRNA experimental medical injections. I can't even say that right because I know it's not right.
Well, but I've seen multiple commercials that told me it's safe and effective. So there's truth in advertising. They can't lie. I mean, it has to be safe and effective, right?
Sponsored by Big Pharma.
Oh,
and with these continuing to gain size and mass inside the bodies of those who have received the mRNA experimental medical injections, it is certain that many people who have not yet died from the vaccines will experience death in the coming months and years. Kirsch has roughly estimated that one person is currently dead for every 1,000 doses of COVID vaccines that are administered. This number will almost certainly increase with time as the clots that are causing so much death appear to be continuing to grow, self-assemble inside the blood vessels and arteries of vaccine victims.
And what does that get? Scroll up. Are you still going right there? Do they list? Scroll up real quick. Do they list the number he said today?
Yep.
Right okay. There. Sorry. Scroll back down.
Go back up. Getting to it.
Yep. All right. Keep going. Common taste.
Thus, the final toll of COVID vaccines will only be experienced over a period of several years and could be orders of magnitude higher, potentially 1 in 100 or even 1 in 10. Although we have to watch excess deaths carefully over the next several years to know what this post-vaccine death phenomenon, where this post-vaccine death phenomenon levels out.
Yep. Here's the big numbers, everybody. Look at this shit.
Prepare yourselves. So far, over 12 billion COVID vaccine doses have been administered worldwide. Over 600 million doses have been administered in the United States. The Kirsch estimates that 600,000 Americans have likely already been killed by COVID vaccines in the USA alone.
That's speculation.
That's about 12 times higher than the total casualties of U.S. soldiers in the Vietnam War.
So when you think about 12 billion doses being given and realize that the population of the Earth is currently at 8.3? Are we at 8.3 right now?
8? I thought we were like 7.9.
Oh, I thought we were 8.3. Whatever. Mom
It's been a while since I've looked.
Yeah. Don't you do it, Nate. We're reading the article.
Well, sorry.
I guess we got to go to the table
I went to Google.
I don't use Google. We use
Google's bad.
Go. Yeah, type it up there. Anyways, anything else? Let's see. If technically you're safe from the COVID, if you are 6 feet deep and they didn't say what exactly effect.
It's okay, man. I'm safe from COVID because I'm 6 feet deep.
I'm 6 feet deep. I'm keeping my 6 feet distance from everybody by being in a grave.
Yeah.
No.
6 foot distance yourself in the ground.
No.
Listen, it just makes common sense that I've been a snake oil salesman the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
It just
selling the worst, deadliest.
When they started listing out, when he started, because
oils.
we watched a little bit of his interview on one of the lefty news programs where he was touting how awesome he is. I think they were reading his letter, wasn't it? About his achievements and shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're proud that you were involved. You're the one who killed people with AIDS. The fucking shit.
Yeah, he said basically they had a very successful trial run with HIV
and AIDS. Yep.
Did you find it?
The number I have found is 7.97 billion.
Oh, 7.97. Okay, so
See?
Vince is right.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I'm sure we would be over 8 billion by now, but, people took the
Fauci.
vax.
Fauci. Yeah,
So do
that's,
you want me
that's
to
a good one.
You want me to keep reading on it?
Yeah, keep reading on it.
Pursuing the mystery of post-vaccine clots. Dr. Jane Ruby has been one of the researchers at the forefront, and I'm cut off, at the forefront of attempting to determine the composition of these clots, as well as their mechanism of action in causing fatalities in victims. Dr. Ruby connected us with Hirschman and helped arrange for the clot samples, which we have tested via ICP-MS in our own ISO-accredited 17025 approved laboratory, which specializes in food and water analysis.
Laboratory.
I want to get to the part where he starts talking about all the elements. In full disclosure, our laboratory is accredited, audited, inspected, and validated for ICP-MS testing in food and water samples, as well as other areas such as cannabinoid quantitation analysis in hemp extract samples. However, the accreditation scope of our lab does not specifically encompass human biological samples. We do not offer such testing to the public. Nevertheless, we routinely test dog food and cat food samples, which are, of course, composed of animal flesh and ground blood vessels, meat tissue, cartilage, and other animal-derived biological structures. And we are using the exact same sample preparation, digestion analysis, and reporting methods for post-vaccine clot samples. We also routinely test beef, poultry, fish, and other meat samples. Thus, we are highly confident in the accuracy of these results. Furthermore, we did not see any failures during the sample prep process. The entire clot was dissolved in nitric acid, meaning its elements went into solution and were able to be analyzed via ICP-MS.
Let's see. Where's the picture?
I don't know why it's not coming up.
It's not loading.
It's not loading. All right, so let's scroll down until we can see that what Vince is looking for. There we
right
go.
there.
Yep.
All right, go up a little bit. Let me read that first line up there.
Go back up a little. Next paragraph.
Yep, keep going.
Right there.
Although we intend to conduct more tests on clots and blood samples, the data we see so far make it clear that these clots are not blood clots. They are not simply made of congealed blood. How do we know this? Because the elemental ratios and densities are vastly different. Consider the following comparison chart based on our ICP-MS results, and notice the stark differences between the elemental concentrations in blood versus clot among nutritive marker elements such as iron and magnesium.
So magnesium, let's go that. Blood results, 35 parts per million. The clot results, what they're calling a clot, 1.7. All right, so keep going.
Potassium, 1,893 parts per million in blood.
12.5.
And they found 12.5 parts per million in the clot. Iron, 462 parts per million in blood. 20.6 in the clot.
Now that was the one that really piqued me when he was talking about it on the show today, when Mike Adams said that, because iron is number. I mean, how many times have you heard people talk? You got low iron. Well, that's in your blood. You've got to have iron.
Absolutely.
And so, if you've got a blood clot, this is just blood results. See, that's the thing we got to clarify. When it says blood results over there, and then clot results, okay, the blood clot should have even more, not less.
Yes, it should be magnitudes
because
larger
it's a
quantity.
It's a mostly peaceful
if it was
collection
a blood
of
clot,
cells.
Then it would be all the stuff in that blood would be magnified into one group.
Right, because it's concentrated and congealed. It is a mostly peaceful gathering of cells.
And you're seeing right here the iron, zinc, chlorine.
They're all...
The phosphorus is...
the only one that's higher.
What is that, like 6 times higher?
6 times? No, that's 1130 to 490. Scroll up a little bit, Nate.
5 times higher almost?
I'd say 4, at least 4. So let's scroll up a little bit more. As you can see, the post-vaccine clot samples only contained 4.6. That's what he was saying. 4.4% of the iron that would be seen in human blood. This alone is confirmation that the clots are not blood clots. In addition, note that the near total lack of potassium in the clot samples. The clots contain less than 0.6% of potassium as human blood. It is a similar story with magnesium too. Is there anything else down there? This is a whole big article. You guys can find this on, and he was talking about the potassium. And so here's some of the stuff that was found in there, right?
Mm-hmm. Several electrically conductive elements were higher in the clot.
And that's what they've been talking about. One of the big things is the 5G resonating with they're using the injections and the 5G as a binary weapon, meaning one by itself may not be completely detrimental, but the two of them reacting. So if they give you a whole bunch of shit in the shot that then can be activated through a 5G frequency and cause a bunch of shit to go wrong in your body.
They were saying, Mike Adams was saying, basically they found graphene in people's blood and in these clots. And graphene alone is a transmitter and receiver of electrical frequencies. So literally all they need is an electrical frequency, and they can transmit and receive data from wherever it's at.
Yeah.
They only need one element for that.
Right. It's just like the people that have mercury fillings and shit like that in their teeth. They literally are creating electricity, bad electricity, in their mouth and are channeling certain frequencies. And people, as soon as they get those fillings, the mercury and the other fillings removed, headaches go away. All sorts of other issues that they're having go away because they're no longer creating that electrical energy. Especially if you've got different elements. Say you've got a couple mercury fillings, and then you got a couple. These are older people that nobody does mercury fillings anymore, but they used to do it. But you can still get silver and gold and some other types of, and those metals in your mouth
are exactly that. Metals in your mouth, and metals in your mouth are not good.
What's that say now? Okay, so let's.
Those are high numbers.
Yeah. Let's read what he says there. With sodium being nearly 50% higher in the clot and tin showing an increase of 588%, we can only conclude that the self-assembling clots, the mostly peaceful gathering of cells, is in effect harvesting or concentrating certain elements from the circulating blood as clot assembly is taking place. It is noteworthy that many of these elements are conductive. Aluminum, for example, is the most common alternative to copper for use in electrical wiring. Sodium is an alkaline metal that is highly conductive. Tin is used primarily in the components of solder alloys used to manufacture and repair circuit boards. You can see by these numbers, the numbers of elemental conductivity at the electrode. What's that say? Electrical conductivity reference table from the
Angstrom Sciences.
One conclusion is inescapable. The clot is almost entirely lacking key marker elements that would be present in human blood, such as iron and potassium, yet show significantly higher concentrations of elements that are used in electronics and circuitry. We invite the reader to draw your own conclusions for the examples that for the explanation behind that, merely noting that the patients of Dr. Charles Lieber may be of special interest. Pretty wild, huh? Pretty angry. Vince got pissed when he heard we were listening to it today on the job site. I thought I was going to.
This analysis notably does not answer any question of whether these clots are alive or dead, like hair and nails.
Right.
My own professional opinion, and that would be Mike Adams. My own professional opinion is that these clots are not living structures. They appear to be self-assembling dead biostructures. From what we can see so far, but that's just an initial assessment and may change with additional observations and findings. Prions, for example, are self-assembling, but not non-living biostructures too. They're essentially misfolded proteins that spread throughout the brain or the regions causing morphological alterations that nullify both the normal structure and function of neurological cells. Something does not have to be alive in order to be self-assembling. Even viruses, as described by traditional virology, are dead structures which are nevertheless self-assembling and can grow in size and mass in terms of their aggregate population. And we can't see the pictures.
I know.
I don't know what's to do with the pictures. Well, maybe we try to... Anyways.
Pictures.
There you go.
So, do they have a spot where it says, has like a list of all the things they found? Because I was listening and it was like...
Didn't he say they were going to publish the paperwork or something like that?
He listed like 15 elements that were mostly heavy metals and then was like, but that's not everything.
Right.
And then listed like 15 more elements that were mostly heavy metals.
Yep. Well, I will tell you firsthand...
30 different elements.
I'll give you firsthand experience. I believe it was heavy metal mercury toxicity that caused me to be a hyperactive kid. Absolutely. I have no doubt of that.
The Mad Hatter?
Mercury was the...
You ever heard of the Mad Hatter?
I have, but go ahead and explain it.
He was called the Mad Hatter because they had a mercury lining on the inside of the hats.
Made him go crazy?
It led to people going insane.
All the people that wore those types of hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's where the term Mad Hatter came from, was
really
because your hat would make you go mad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because it had mercury in the band?
Yep.
Why did it have mercury in the band? Do you know?
Why did they use the dye that they used on those to make those watch faces glow, and the girls had to lick the brush and dip it in there, and their freaking jaws fall out and everything like that, and they had to end up suing the company. What was the name of that show? The movie? They did a
that was
something girls. It was
vanadium?
I think it was vanadium.
No. It wasn't uranium.
Idinium, or I can't remember. But they were the clock girls.
It was used in the felting process of making the hats.
Mercury was, yeah.
Okay.
So it's used in...
I looked it up.
Very nice.
Vanadium,
nice,
isn't that what some tools are made out of?
Vanadium? Could be.
Vanadium wrenches.
Al said, Hannah said she's glad that they didn't get the jab when they were pressured to do it. Al was asking why...
I had to beg her not to do it.
Right.
Because, yes, you got a small pay increase, but...
Well, Al's kind of...
all this shit.
Al's curious, pressure. You guys are being pressured, but the free hamburger and beer didn't tempt you guys to get an experimental mystery gene juice?
No.
No? Okay. You mean there's a burger and fry element to
Radium girls.
Radium girls.
Yeah, they used to make radium clocks.
Yeah,
was
the
one
ones
of the
that glow.
things. Yep.
Yeah, they would glow without having to be in the sunlight.
And they would mix radium with the glass to make it glow.
Yep. And the girls, because they would lick the brushes, dip it in the and make the brushes have a fine point, and then they would dip it in the radium, and they would paint each number by hand on the faces. And because they were constantly touching their tongue, they all got sick.
And that shit is extremely radioactive.
Yep. And the bastards would come in, and the movie was really good. It didn't. It did creative license because they focused on just one couple of girls in one factory, but there was a whole bunch of lawsuits that came out across a bunch of factories. So they always consolidated into like one character or one, small group. But the one doctor would come in and accuse the girls of having
drugs.
No. VD.
VD, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Disease, yeah.
Yep. They would accuse them of having some type of that they were loose women, and that's why their jaw was falling off and they had lesions and they were developing cancer and dying and stuff. And they're fucking poisoning. What you finding over there, Nate? Go back up. You got the Wikipedia there on the radium girls?
No.
You're just looking up radium.
Yeah, I was trying to find
in the CIA
the index of how toxic it is.
Right. Al says about fillings, he says, if I chew a piece of foil, it feels like a shock on the amalgam fillings that he has.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is.
It is. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Hannah said they didn't get free food or beer, but that's okay because the beer is gross anyways.
Right on, Hannah. Right on.
Atta girl.
Mm-hmm. Whatever it takes, girl.
Yeah. So now that they're finding out these blood clots, it's all gonna come out.
Absolutely.
It's all coming out. The problem is that mainstream media, even like when we were downstairs and looking up Google, they're still spreading the lies and not telling the truth. And the thing that if you realize that if they can't answer you the same way about something's wrong. Wake up, people.
Wake the fuck up.
It's like, Vince, is your t-shirt gray?
No. It is mostly.
CNN told me it's purple.
That's what I thought.
It is.
Oh wait, no, they didn't because they're gone, or they're gonna be gone.
They're gonna be gone.
Oh yeah, that's a highlight today, or this past week.
Yeah, there's no
Brian's
fat potato on the screen anymore.
The fat potato is gone.
CNN is gone?
No, Brian Stelter of Reliable Sources was fired.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing or a what thing?
Yeah. I mean, I saw the meme. I downloaded. Nate, click on go down to folder. Should be the most recent one. Most recent picture. Inflation, yeah. Click on that one. Click on inflation. Oh, that's not the right one. Let me see. Well, that's inflation. All right, you can close that one. That one was a good one I thought I'd use tonight. But the other one was, it was a meme. We got an InfoWars tab open. Just close that. Or just minimize that. We got an InfoWars tab open. Yeah, just hit that one. Close that. Scroll down, please. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Keep going to the memes. All right, click the right. That one. All right. Look at this one. Oh, CNN canceled. You gotta go back.
Oh, it's probably on like auto scroll.
CNN canceled Reliable Sources with Brian Stelter. I wonder how his regular viewers feel. I'm sure they were both upset. His viewership was like, what was it? It was horrible. Like nobody watching. Alex Jones kept saying he's like a little small town radio station will have 10,000 listeners in their audience, and he's getting like 6,000 on CNN.
Wow.
Pathetic. Let's see. And it says what if they put some mind control thing in the jab? So only the people that didn't get it can see the truth. That's what we're talking about. Is the frequencies and the manipulation is clearly in there, and they're pulling some shit.
Yeah,
so,
don't discount it just because you're not sure.
So it's not where they're not having blood clots. It's definitely some shit that they're pulling, and what's unfortunate is we're going to see the fallout of this coming up real soon. There we go. Inflation. Look at that one.
I think that's exactly why Fauci's stepping down.
Absolutely. Well, look at the fall
because he knows a bunch of people are about to start dropping dead.
That was his plan.
That's his plan. So the PAC money goes to the donkeys. The donkeys give the corporate welfare to the businesses. The business give the money back. It's just a big circle of money. Do you actually think that money's going to Ukraine? I mean, does anybody actually believe that money's actually making it to Ukraine? It's being funneled through all these fucking politicians' hands and kickbacks and everything else is going on. Two types of people really irritate me. People who don't like open borders and people who trespass on my beach property. That's a good one.
Kind of a misnomer here.
You fucking idiot. All right, it's time for final thoughts. Unless anybody else has another rant. But
no,
I think we're good. Brian Stelter, you're fired.
You're fired. You're fired.
You're fired. You're fired.
You're fired.
You're fired. You're fired. It's time for you to fucking go. You gotta get out of here.
You're not gonna be able to afford
you disgusting cow.
Your bald head polish anymore.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh my.
Taking a knee.
Yeah, how about that one? They're kneeling. The teacher's just respectfully looking at the flag, and then one of the students kneels, and then she's pissed off because he's kneeling for the rainbow flag instead of standing. Yeah, fuck you.
Pledge allegiance to the cult.
Yeah, of the transgender manipulating sickos.
Of following everything that
I have on one hand I have empathy for people because I know they're poisoning the shit out of a lot of people with all these chemicals. You know, as Alex Jones said, they're making the frickin' frogs gay. Well, you don't think the atrazine and all the other shit that's going into the water is affecting people? So you got a bunch of kids that are really fucked up. But instead of entertaining that, get them on a detox. They're all over the place. Mom, you've done detox.
Yeah, have them flush their gut.
Vince has done detox. I've done detox. Nate, have you ever done detox?
Plenty.
Yeah. What's the one we like to do like once a year? The
Oxy powder.
Oxy powder detox.
InfoWars store.
You stay close to the bathroom and it just flushes you out. It's a good flush. But Mom's done kidney? You've done a liver detox and you've done a kidney detox, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the other one?
I think that was it. I did a couple of the liver detox because your liver, it gets rid of all the gunk in your body.
And I would submit to you that the liver detox is the actual, that's the way to go for, you know, people say, well, you just can't digest, you know, at a certain point, you just, you know, there's too much, you know, you can't eat red meat anymore. It was never that good for you. And I go, no.
No, at a certain point, you haven't flushed out your guts.
You haven't flushed out your
30
guts.
30 fucking years.
Yeah.
And there's 30 years worth of shit in your gut.
Bad
literally.
Shit. And you think it's, now you can't digest the meat. And it's not the meat.
Rotting garbage.
Right. Your body couldn't digest it because it's clogged up with other shit. Do a study. There's a really good book called Wheat Bellies. And he writes in there, he was doing these open heart surgeries, like just regular. He was a big open heart surgery guy. And he actually gave a shit. And so he started doing research and he's like, he started telling people to get completely off of wheat. And that was the other thing when I was listening to one of the podcasts and they were talking about we're not supposed to be eating there's good vegetables.
Only plants.
There's good vegetables, right? But to eat the wheats and stuff like we do, where it's in everything and they add all the sugar to it, not a good raw sugar, but a bleached out.
Well, they took all the nutrients out of it.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, I'm gluten intolerant, and that doesn't mean it means what it is. It bothers me.
Right.
And I've been tested, but I knew 10 years before I was tested that I had a problem with breads.
Right.
With the white breads, the wheat breads, they would bloat me. You know, I would feel stuffed.
Right.
I could eat a half a piece of bread and just feel like, oh my God, I just ate this big steak dinner and I'm just miserable and I gotta unbutton my pants because I can't breathe.
The other part of that too is 1973.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is when they took iodine out of the grains.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Right. Well, and here's the big thing
and
too.
They replaced it with bromide.
So the big thing about the grains that I learned from the Wheat Bellies book is that they have these incredibly long protein strands in the wheat. And what happens is these protein strands, because they're incredibly long, you've got throughout your gut, your large and small intestines, or basically your small intestines, you've got these little fingers that stick out from in the lining all over. I want to say they're called bacilli, but that might be right. But anyways, there's these little fingers, and these long protein strands, instead of being absorbed into them and going to feed you, be processed and go into they literally, because they're so long, they clog the protein strand. The protein strand clogs it, and now you can't. So now that's blocking something else coming in to digest, and they say, well, that's the red meat. No, you need to do a good gut cleanse. You need to do a good liver cleanse, good kidney cleanse. It's good to do, and it's amazing when you go back
and then put a good probiotic back into your gut.
Yeah.
To replace all that bad crap, because there's supposed to be good stuff in there.
Absolutely.
That we don't get.
I remember when there was an article that it was on the cover of I think it was Discovery magazine. Could have been Popular Science, but I think it was Discovery. And it says through their study that they're finding out that like 97% of the human body is made up of other stuff, of bacterias and other things. And it was very eye-opening to find out that our bodies are so symbiotic with all of these other microorganisms, and if we would realize that.
Well, one of the things that I just listened to, they were talking about how, like right now, summer's coming to an end, and we're going to start harvesting.
Yep.
Well, you think of when the blueberries came on, when the raspberries came on, when the cherries came on, when the apples come on, all of those things in your garden that once you start harvesting, those are the things you're supposed to be eating, because they are, it's the timing of it.
Absolutely.
And so if you get a good variety and you understand that all of it should be fresh.
Right.
And then what you can obviously, we've lost all of that. We're so into this microwavable, and I'm one of them. But when I went to the natural path with the cancer situation and said, okay, what's going on? Because now you've just done 5 surgeries on me, and each surgery has taken a toll on me. How do I build myself back up? The first thing they went after was my gut health. That was the first thing that my naturopath said is, and she did the testing, and my markers, I was close to autoimmune disease, I had, and she tested all of it. You can get all this stuff tested. Yeah. But the bottom line is your gut health where it needs to be? And I can guarantee you, before I did that, I was pretty good, and then I had the surgeries and got pretty down.
Yep.
But one of the things that is really prevalent in the United States for just about, I don't even know what the percentage is having constipation.
Yeah. There's multiple commercials on, this thing and that thing that can help with you. They show the people that are, they can't go places because, they're irritable bowel syndromes or whatever the fuck they're calling it now.
And that irritable,
Frank can't poop.
I was diagnosed with the irritable bowel syndrome,
Yeah.
which is bullshit. You know what it is?
We don't know what the fuck it is, but you can't shit.
Exactly.
I'm not a doctor, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn, so.
No, it's not well, we don't know what to do for you, but this is what's going on with you.
Right.
Okay, well, great. But the fact of the matter is the gut health from what all we are consuming in eating and everything, that's what's causing most all of our diseases.
Oh, absolutely. It all goes back to diet. When you realize there are more nerve endings in your gut than are in your brain, then you begin to understand that your gut health, and when it talks about your listening to your inner man, listening to your gut, when they say that, you got to listen to your gut. Well, that's why they're attacking your gut with all of this shitty food. And as you were talking about it, yeah, we should be eating things in season.
Yes. It's
as
huge.
they're going, because they are the seasonal things and the things that grow naturally during that time. Like, it's like what would grow in this climate, not something that we've adopted from some other climate. Because I always go back to the Inuit, commonly known as the Eskimo. They live on fish and seals. That's their diet. Very little vegetation. Just seals and fish. And you know what? They don't have heart disease. They don't have these. So it flies in the face of all these people that say that fat and all those other things are the problem. No, processed fucking foods are the problem.
Right.
And it's hard. We live lifestyles that
preservatives,
and then you find
colorings.
out when Crisco was invented,
it was made for cars. And they couldn't sell it.
Everyone was using lard and animal fats to cook their foods.
Yeah, bacon grease.
And then Crisco was like, well, this is only, a couple of compounds off of most animal fat protein structures,
So they repurposed it.
Let's repurpose this and put it in the food industry, into everything. And the day they did that, they also founded the American Heart Association.
Yeah. That's another follow the money thing.
That's a definite.
So that they were the ones putting it out, knowing it was going to cause harm, and they founded the organization to keep track of all the harm they caused, so that they were not accountable either way.
That's another interesting, like I said, follow the money one.
Yeah.
You think pomegranates are awesome, and they're the best thing since sliced bread, and you should be eating the pomegranates, in the morning. They're great for you and everything like that. Okay, cool. Believe what you want to believe.
Right.
But realize that the people who put out the people in the pomegranate industry who are growing the pomegranates and wanted to put it out also funded the research that said that pomegranates were these awesome, off-the-chart fucking healthy things that you should be eating.
Well, and it's just like everything else, you have to listen to your body.
Yeah, your gut.
You have to listen. I eat spinach with everything. We had lasagna tonight. I had it on a bed of spinach.
I can testify to that.
And it for I don't care what anybody says, it makes me feel better. I get a good cup of spinach out of every meal. And it makes me feel better. It makes my digestion regular. I don't feel bloated. I feel good.
Grandma can poop.
I can poop. And it's really a sad situation when our foods are making us ill and we don't even understand it. Because we're not.
Well, that's the problem, is they're not our foods. They're all coming from a giant factory somewhere else.
Right.
Well, that's why they want to
shelf.
that's why they want to go after the Amish, because the Amish are not.
Yeah, because their food is
They're
literally
not eating.
their ownership
Yeah.
over their entire land, and they're, providing their whole community with what they own.
Yeah, I guarantee you they're making their own bread.
Oh, absolutely.
And they don't,
without a
need
doubt,
a 15-mile long production facility to fucking make cardboard boxes all day long.
Yeah.
They
Right.
put it in bags and they sell it to people.
Right.
Yep. And I
Yeah.
guarantee you they have cellars. So, they grow potatoes or they grow the squash, and they can keep them in the cellars for a period of time to get them through the winter.
Absolutely. And that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. And they can them. Canning's gone out of style.
We got to can some
all
stuff
the
right.
time.
Well, I need to can some of the vegetables John's brought over, the neighbor.
Yeah. I used to can all the time.
Al said that the Abuma Fluid Brain Initiative mapped the human brain. Then they developed graphene based on brain implants. No connection to the jab, though. He says, my IBS got a lot better after taking probiotics and eating less dairy.
Yep.
Then went gluten-free for a while. Doctor gave me lots of antibiotics when I was a kid. So then by the time he was in high school, he's miserable. Yeah. You do the antibiotics. You know what they do? They attack your gut first. I listened to one doctor years ago that gave a good explanation. He's like, when I prescribe antibiotics, I prescribe a long regimen of antibiotics. And he explained it. He's like, look, antibiotics don't just attack the bad bacteria that's causing issues. It attacks the good bacteria as well. It attacks all of it.
Yep.
So I have to give you a long enough antibiotic regimen to wipe out the bad that's causing the issue. Because if I give you a short dose, which is all they do now, they give you 10 days, right? And
almost like they want you to be.
It doesn't wipe out enough. That's when they say,
dependent.
"Oh, these bacteria come back. These antibiotic resistant strains of bacteria." No, you empowered the bacteria. It was already overwhelming the body. That's where the issue is coming from.
Right.
And instead of giving the antibiotic long enough to do its job, which I don't believe that's the number one go-to thing we should be doing, but in that arena. Okay, you give a long enough antibacterial regimen so that you wipe out the bad stuff and it doesn't come roaring back. It's already overpowering the body. That means the fight is already being lost. So you don't weaken the entire body and then allow that thing to roar back.
Well, and when you do antibiotics, for whatever reason you do them, you should have a protocol. You should have the probiotic protocol. You should be eating gut healthy foods.
Absolutely.
My doctor and naturopath said the one thing that I would tell you if you went off all of the supplements, because at one point it was like astronomical costs for me to be on the supplements and stuff. But if you go off all the supplements, I would recommend that you do a gut health shake every day to keep you in optimal health.
Absolutely.
Because it's the foods we eat.
It is the foods we eat.
Like imagine trying to put out a fire and you got a bucket of water, right?
Right.
But that bucket of water is half mixed with gasoline.
It's not going to help.
But that's the only thing they provide you with.
Yep.
Is that bucket of water and gasoline mixed together.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's going to
You better stop, drop, and roll.
It's going to dampen the fire, but in the end, it's going to make it even more powerful.
Mm-hmm. It's going to add to it.
Yep. That's huge. All right, final thoughts, quick. We're in the wee hours. Vince has got a final thought. Okay, buddy.
Yeah. Bottom line is, I'd say for about the last century, if not longer, everything has been run by the most wealthy humans on Earth. For the last century. In the entire world, basically, has been run by the most wealthy people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what is their goal with that wealth? Obviously, they have enough to live the rest of their lives with nothing, no intrusions, no distractions. They can live however they want.
Right.
Anyone could.
Right.
With that amount of money. So their only goal left now is fund all the projects that they want. Doesn't matter how much they destroy or wreak havoc, as long as they're funding it and people are still taking paychecks, it's still going to get done. Right?
Yeah.
And the other thing is, the way the food system's set up, and a majority of other systems, is they are not growing massive amounts of food to feed the world population.
No, and it could be
They
done
are growing
easily.
the massive amounts of food with the shittiest ingredients, literally the cheapest garbage they can possibly find
For the money.
so that they can make another dollar.
Right.
Not to feed anyone.
That's what they're doing with the Amish. The Amish won't grow the GMO
well,
shit.
You could even go a step further and say, they're not just doing it for $1. That's not their whole goal. The rest of their goal is to poison everyone else so that there's no one left.
Kind of dumb, ain't they?
Yeah.
Kind of dumb. It'll all come around.
Well, but what's happening is they're pushing all of us to the
road to hell
back
is
to
paved with good intentions.
Yeah, but they're pushing all of us back to that sustainability.
So, yeah, it doesn't, I'm not saying that everyone who's ever been successful is doing it out of, some bad intentions or whatever. No,
Right.
I'm saying they took the technology that someone invented out of the good nature of their heart, wanting to help humanity. They took that technology and reversed it and made it destroy humanity.
Right.
And then they figured out how to make the most money possible.
Yeah.
And that's all they've been doing for the last 100 years is how to make the most money possible, how to get the most control, how to get the most influence, and at the same time, having no one know about who they even are.
Right. Absolutely. Well, that's the domination that they're doing because in the beginning it says that God gave man dominion over the earth and over the beasts of the fields and the birds of the air and over the ground, everything that creeps on the ground. But he didn't give dominion over other men. There was never a provision about having dominion over another man. And so when you're a perversion of who you were created to be, and that's what these elites, the vast majority of them are, they're a perversion. You see the decadence, you see the demonic nature of them.
Debauchery.
The debauchery. When you go down that line, you go down that path, you see that they are everything that's in Genesis 1 and 2, they are a direct perversion to. They believe in depopulation. Well, Scripture says to be fruitful and multiply. It doesn't say be fruitful and multiply until you reach a certain number and then you guys, stop it. It says be fruitful and multiply. It says subdue the earth. Well, instead of subduing the earth, they're the greatest polluters. They're the ones. What was it, Justin Trudeau, who's out there advocating that we've got to have these climate taxes and we've got to stop and save the earth and do all the climate things, had 40 fucking cars, SUVs, in his
jumper.
40 vehicles in his motorcade, probably to attend a climate summit on how we need to stop polluting. Fucking idiots, man. We talked about that last week about the
Did you hear
airplanes.
the guy who asked the I forget who it was, but somebody who's on the climate, in the climate echelons, whatever you want to call it. Someone who goes to those meetings, the climate change meetings,
Yeah.
But this reporter is asking, so what do you expect people to do when you're telling them to buy a $70,000 car when they can't afford their gas? What do you expect them to do? And this lady's she's like, oh, well, there's incentive programs and you can get solar panels on your house and you can actually finance it and it's only 30% of the whole cost and you can just do this and that and this and that and this and that. It's like, Lady, people cannot afford to do that.
Right.
Any of that.
And if you went back
People can't afford to finance 30% of the price of those fucking solar panels.
And if you went back to what Trump was doing,
and it's going to take 20 years to pay off any of their electrical bill.
He removed the regulation and everything was flourishing. What the fuck are you people doing?
Yeah, they were coming out with all kinds of new solar technology, and everybody was realizing the fucking wind thing is all stupid.
Right. I'll tell you, I like the looks of a Tesla, but I have the biggest problem with Tesla because I know for a fact that they get several $1,000s from the government that extort it from other auto manufacturers, and that's the only reason he can sell his cars and make any money at it. Otherwise, they would lose. If they had the same sticker price today and they weren't getting the carbon offset tax money for making an electric vehicle, he would lose money on each vehicle if they stayed at the same sticker price. He would have to raise it 30 grand to sell those cars at what it costs them to make. And then you find out that the batteries, the lithium batteries and all that stuff, the lithium mines.
You think there's no impact on making electric vehicles? Look at the fucking lithium mines that are a mile deep.
Are the most destructive mines in the world.
Dude,
there's no other mine that is this destructive.
They carve out a whole mile wide, and then they go a mile deep.
It's just it, and then the chemicals
and
that they use the chemicals that they use to destroy or to extract the lithium and stuff are so utterly destructive. And then you find out that once they make the batteries and then they go through their lifespan and now they need to be disposed of, they're worse than nuclear waste. They cannot be stored. They cannot be destroyed or repurposed. They have to be stored like nuclear waste. There was an article that came through about 3-4 weeks ago that they didn't realize it. They bought an electric vehicle for their child. They paid, I don't know what it was, 12 grand or something like that. And then they found out, or 6 months later, the battery fully died in it, and they found out it was going to be another 16 grand to replace the battery for a vehicle they already paid 12 grand for. And they were suing or trying to sue somebody to figure out what to do, and they're like, you're shit out of luck. You bought a 12-year-old fucking battery car and it's no longer charging, and we don't make batteries for that anymore. And the battery you have is now considered toxic waste. That's the shit that we're dealing with right now. They're not looking at true Tesla, not Tesla fucking cars, Tesla automotive, but Tesla tech, where he was pulling energy from the ether, from the atmosphere. One lightning bolt strike could power cities for days if we harness that energy and we operate.
It's like, why aren't we seeing people building stuff like that?
Yeah.
Because there's other entities out there.
Because they don't.
It's basically illegal to do that. To make something that's going to benefit humanity is illegal.
Yep.
Tesla had a plan to build giant Tesla coils in different regions of the Earth.
Yeah.
It would supply the entire planet with power forever.
Right.
And pretty much free of cost.
Right. His one at Wardenclyffe was the one.
He said, build me 200 towers
and he got killed
in the U.S., and I will power the entire U.S.
Well, he built the one at Wardenclyffe, and when Westinghouse came and said, okay, great tower, you're going to create energy, he's like, where do I put the meter? And he's like, there's no meter. This is free. You just pull it from the atmosphere. And he said, so he shut it down.
Yeah.
And his whole project got scrapped.
Yep.
And
I believe they burned all of his paperwork on it too.
The big thing about it is, that's one of the biggest criticisms that I've heard of the real Tesla is, oh man, well, he should have taken the money when he had the chance and blah, blah, blah. Like, you realize he was trying to help all of humanity, and he was dead set in doing that.
Right. And he wasn't a great businessman because he would give up his patents. He would give up all sorts of stuff because he was in pursuit of the purity of just developing the technology.
And it's like people nowadays, oh man, he could have made so much money. He could have done this and this and this.
He didn't want the money.
Right.
He wanted the gratification of helping the entire planet.
Right. I mean,
he went down in history just for what he did.
Right.
And he never took the money.
And that's the thing is, if you would go and look at his tech,
there's a unit of electrical measurement named after Tesla.
Right.
That most people don't even know exists.
Right. And that's the amazing thing is most of his technology has been seized by the government and they're suppressing it. If you wanted a true electric Tesla, that's the bullshit of Elon and
with today's technology, we could build something that could fit in the palm of your hand.
Oh, absolutely.
To power.
Oh, absolutely.
Whatever you need it to power.
We could probably, with today's technology, build a Tesla tower half the size of the one he built and power 5 cities for free.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he didn't have connections to all the materials that we have now.
Passon is chiming in. He says, major impact on these POS cars. And then he said, Elon is a paid shill. I tend to lean that way. I think he's done a couple things. I think the Twitter thing exposing it. But I think overall if
he comes out and says, fuck the globalists and fuck this shit.
Yeah. But he's really got to go even further for me.
Well, that'll just be like, okay, well, at least he said it.
Yeah.
Now let's see if he fucking does anything.
Right.
Because
but I just
he's got more money than anyone else.
I look
enough to fight all these people.
Correct. I just look at the industries that he's involved in, and it's like your SpaceX. I mean, come on. Does anybody believe that they landed that fucking that wasn't CGI to land the fucking rocket onto a barge in the middle of the ocean? When is the ocean ever that fucking calm? And when does it come down? They turn the rocket motors off at a certain point. It's not going to just float down to the fucking pad. You got to keep that rocket on the entire time until it literally settles down. And it shows it cutting off the engine at like 100 or 200 feet. It's like, this is fucking CGI bullshit. How do you guys believe that shit?
Sink the ship.
It's like, come on. And just miraculously at the time that you need to land it, the ocean is perfectly calm so you can land on a fucking barge. And why do you have all these cuts? And why is it's like, just come on. This is fucking bullshit. So,
and for the launching the Tesla into space thing,
yeah,
you can see that that's so
fucking
CGI.
fake, dude. It was so fucking fake. That's the type of shit that bothers me about Tesla. I think that Elon has he's going in the right direction on the surface of what we're seeing. You know, I mean, you're really fucked with Twitter, and I like that.
Kick in the ass to make it over that little bridge, though.
But dude, the Tesla thing, I couldn't do an electric car in this world. I couldn't be involved in it because I know it's a scam.
Not even the Ford Lightning.
Well, you know what?
No, does it have a little gas motor that I can fire up?
Unfortunately, no.
I think the biggest thing you got to look at though is he's not like a global entity, you know, in the sense that like Ford is, you know.
Well,
he kind of just said, "Hey, I want to build cars,"
and that's cool. And I understand that. And if he's coming out, you know, he's realizing things and he's moving in that direction. I get that, and I won't go down that line. But there's far more. You know, they accuse Alex Jones of being paid opposition. I'm like, the fuck he is, dude. If he was paid opposition, they wouldn't be going after him the way that they are. But he wouldn't be. No, to say that, you're a fucking idiot.
He wouldn't have millions of dollars to pay back.
If he's paid opposition, guess what? Everybody is. Everybody's fucking paid opposition.
Yeah.
Okay? Stop. At a certain point, you've got to look past the flaws of a person and their missteps throughout their career and their life and realize they're extreme. I think Trump is phenomenal. I think he fucked up on the vaccines. He listened to the wrong people, and he hasn't put his pride down enough to come out and admit that. But I think overall, he's phenomenal.
I think it's going to happen soon because Ron DeSantis came out.
Yeah, Ron. Yeah,
and they've been.
But they act
each
like
other like every week.
They act like I was talking with at breakfast the other day. Vicky wanted to go to the little diner, so we went to breakfast Sunday morning. And gentleman sat down. We ended up sitting at the bar, and gentleman sat down next to me, and something came on the TV, and I made a comment, and he chimed right in, and we just started talking. But one of the things he said was, he says, I just wish Trump, I think he's divisive and everything like that. And he was straight up conservative and loved, and I said, I'm listening to him. I'm like, okay. And he's like, it's just the tweets. And I'm like, I listened to him. I didn't chime back, but I wanted to go, okay. Name me one tweet that you think was horrible that Trump put out there. And I've said that to other people, and they can't answer me. They just say the tweets are bad. And I'm like, that's the mainstream fucking media telling you that the tweets are bad.
What was Hillary Clinton doing while he was tweeting?
When he was on Twitter, I got all of his tweets, and I read most of them. And you know what? They were usually...
most of them were correct.
Most of them were correct, and they were in response to the bullshit that other people were saying, and he's just responding to that. Now, could he have tried to rise above that? You know, that's what people say. He's got to be president. I'm like, dude, if you sat down and listened to the shit that comes out of these other politicians' mouths on a regular basis, okay? I mean, just play a clip of fucking Maxine Waters going, if you see them in a restaurant or at the gas station, you surround them and you let them know they're not welcome around here. Trump never fucking said that in a tweet.
That's called a threat.
She's nasty.
She's an evil person.
And incitement.
Exactly.
No charges brought up against her.
All right, you're done.
Final thought.
You're done with your final thought? Give it to me.
I think people just got to be aware that...
Wake the fuck up.
This is a fucking plan that's been going on for decades.
Yeah.
If not
centuries.
An entire 100 years or more.
Yep.
But what's happening right now has been planned for decades.
Yeah.
They've been preparing everything in the world, and you can see it, you know, with all the bullshit they're doing. Oh, there's this distraction, or there's a million distractions that they're throwing in our face to keep us from looking at them.
Yeah.
Because they are the problem. Not all of us, them. They have all the money, they have all the resources, and all they're doing is fucking everything up. They are the problem.
And that's why I go back and say, if this was true and this was true, why are they doing this?
What do you think they would do if they woke up one day and all that money was gone? Do you think they would just go live a regular life like a normal human being?
No, they'd panic and shit their pants.
Well, here's the thing. If the money was all gone...
Well, they would do that too, but...
You got to realize they own the land.
Guaranteed they know somebody they can call and say, hey, give me a few billion so I can keep fucking up the world.
Well, again, years and years of war up until this last century, wars were fought over land conquering land. That's what Hitler did during World War II. Now they don't go and conquer land. They just buy it up.
Yeah.
I mean, China's buying up land all over the place right next to our military bases. Gates is buying up farmland all throughout the country. He's the biggest farmland owner in the United States right now. That's what they're doing. They're conquering through other means. You know? Grandma, you ready for your final thought?
I'll make it short and sweet.
All right.
We need to realize that the enemy is these people, but it's also the devil. And he's rampant right now in the earth because he knows his time is short. And it's a push. And Jesus comes back tomorrow or 100 years from now or whenever. It's going to happen. But the bottom line is, where are you in all of this? Are you fighting for the good? Are you fighting for the truth? Are you fighting for the right? Are you fighting for honesty, integrity? Or are you fighting to get that almighty dollar in your pocket? Who are you following?
I think the most important thing is freedom.
It is.
Yeah.
And freedom comes at a cost.
Because
we have to
right
fight
now, the
for
minute
that
you're
freedom.
born, you're not free.
No.
The second you're born, you're not free.
No.
You're inducted.
That's why they get you a social security number right away.
Oh, there's a number on your birth certificate. They're trading that like a stock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why it's on title paper.
Exactly.
This is your human title.
Yeah.
That's why it's
like
all
a car title.
Yeah.
That's why it's in all capital letters as well.
Yeah. So for me, the final thought is, this vaccine, the stuff that's in it,
jabby jab,
that scares me to no end because I have friends and family that have taken it with the understanding that this was going to keep them from getting sick, which is not anywhere close to what it actually does.
That was never the intended purpose.
That's what they were told.
That was what they were told.
And now you watch them flip-flop, and I've talked to a few
And
people.
that's just
and they
so
go,
bad.
well, no, it wasn't originally. I'm like,
Yes, it was.
yeah, when you got the jab, you were
Yes.
exactly told
Yes.
that it was for this purpose. And now
To
you're going to
keep you
backtrack?
from getting...
Who's deceived?
Yes. So don't be deceived, and don't fall for their lies.
Exactly.
And you know what? We need to be praying for our country, for our politicians, because something's going to give. I said before, the pimple's going to pop. Eventually, it's all going to come to a head.
Yep.
And are you ready? You know, that Amish, I want to go and buy from that Amish farmer
Dude,
right now.
I want to join the co-op.
I want to
Drive
join
to Pennsylvania and go, all right,
no
buddy.
No shit. I
How
want
can
to
I help
join
you-
his.
Help you pay your lawyers to fight this $300,000 fucking fines against you.
Right.
It's fucking bullshit.
Right. We need to stand up to it, you know? And cuz it'll take you down. This crap, if you get too up in it, how many people have committed suicide over the last 2 years over COVID?
Oh, multiple.
How many people are all up in arms about the presidency and what's going on there? And, you know, then you get the gas prices and everything else. And like you said, oh, well, why don't you just go get why don't you just buy
$70,000 car.
Yeah, why don't you get the $70,000 car and then get your solar panels on your house? And why don't you do this and why don't you do this? You know, you get those solar panels on your house and you drop your...
and then you got to pay an extra $3,000 every month
You drop
when they're never going to pay themselves off.
Right. Well, you drop your bill from your regular provider, right? Because you got these solar panels. Then they want to know why. You know, it's a vicious circle.
Well, the biggest problem with the solar panels, and I love...
Well, you'd have to get a lot more than just the roof of your house.
Well, I do like the solar
Exactly.
I do like the solar panels. The problem that they don't tell you about is solar panels only work when the sun's shining. So if you don't have a huge battery bank to store the energy that you're...
And they're not as efficient as people think.
Exactly.
Because they already have better technology.
Yep.
They were just coming out with stuff like 2 years ago.
Wind and solar...
We're using this new type of photovoltaic with putting a new compound on it.
Yep.
You know, like a circuit board. And they're saying, oh, this absorbs 100 times more energy from sunlight.
And that got quickly swept away.
And then it disappeared.
Yep. Absolutely.
Never went into production because that's too efficient.
That'll
save people too much.
Yep. Al was chiming in earlier about the White House Brain Initiative, talking about Obama funding the grants. And their goal was, it was in 2013, the goal was of supporting the development and application of innovative technologies that can create dynamic understanding of brain function so that they could fuck us over, basically. You know?
Well, they could do it anyways. That's why
and Elon Musk has a Neuralink, and that's just one more step in the process.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's one of the other things I don't trust about him. Then Al said, most utilities burn coal, gas, and oil to make power, so it doesn't do anything but siphon more money from the people. Well, it's funny, because these people want to do, oh, I got an electric car. Yeah, and you went over and plugged into the fucking grid, which is burning all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
and then
but
they
you still have to fucking pay for.
We're trying to eliminate, the burning coal and these other things. Okay, so are you developing nuclear? Well, no. Or are we developing this? No, we're just shutting shit down. So then now they're putting out PSAs warning that the whole country, just like California, could have rolling blackouts. Oh, okay. We're just gonna have fucking rolling blackouts now. Why? Because we shut shit down.
You're not gonna be able to charge your electric car.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said if we lost electricity this day, we didn't have electricity.
Yeah.
Bunch of people would be screwed.
Well, we can
bunch of businesses.
We can broadcast on this show for about 25 minutes once the electricity goes out.
Because you have a
Because
generator?
everything's on battery backups right here. The towers and all that shit's all on battery backups. And
I got my generator.
But how are people going to watch
I'm good.
Well,
the power goes out?
They'd be watching in Bangladesh,
Oh, I'm on my generator.
But I think with the technology that if we lost electricity, I don't know if you remember this in, what was it, 2007 or whatever, we had the blackout and everybody was down. I was in the UP, so I wasn't down. I was with Grandma. But my store was down, my house was down, everybody was down, right? Do you remember that?
I was installing countertops, and we had no electricity to do the regular, because sometimes we would do an install and we'd have to glue it together and sand it down. Well, it's all power sanders and vacuums and stuff for the Corian countertops. And if we didn't have electricity, we could only do the countertops that were single piece, kitchen countertops and bathroom countertops.
Yeah, but I think about that, and I think about the computers and how much we use them, the electronics. These houses that have all this electronics and they have the ADT, because we gotta be.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah, and my whole house runs on Alexa now.
Yeah. Alexa, turn on the oven. Alexa, defrost the.
Turn off my garage lights for me because I left them
What's
on.
the one that they do?
Feed the dog right now.
What's the one? Was Alexa, go fuck yourself? And she comes back with, I am only electronics, so I can't go fuck myself. But it was
It's like I am not a physical being,
therefore I can't do that.
But I think about that and how many people would actually lose their minds.
The response normally for something like that is, I don't understand.
Yes.
Well, what makes me really think about is, first of all, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's just going to go down one day, because they're trying to make it as slow of a process as they possibly can, while at the same time accelerating everything.
It's the boiling frog effect.
Exactly.
They can't
because
just kill everything
If
at
the
once.
power went off right now everywhere, people would wake up and see, why the fuck did the power go off?
Right.
I'm going to ask
I'm
questions.
praying for the power to go out, because people need to start thinking.
But that's what I'm saying is they're not.
God Almighty,
they're not going to let it happen like that, because it would wake so many people up.
Right.
Again.
Well, more and more people are
and
waking
that would
up.
be like the entire population.
Absolutely.
All at once.
Mr.
All at
Passon
once.
says, and Bill Gates wants
So
to
that's why
block
they're
out
gonna
the
do-
sun. Yeah.
That's why they're doing the rolling blackouts, to get you used to not having power.
He said the my local internet would fail due to the local hub losing its power. That is probably true. But we would be able to do at least the last 20 minutes of recording and the show. We've done it. We've lost power here. And we were in the dark. And we went for, another 10 minutes before I was like, all right, well, I guess we're done. Because it wasn't coming back on. Nate, final thought over there, buddy?
You need to just follow the trail. I mean, it's quite a wide trail at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you're missing the trail, then maybe you need to get your eyes checked.
Yeah, it's an extremely wide trail, but it's only like 2 feet long. Right?
Yeah.
Because all you have to do is ask one question, and you're already at the end.
Yeah, follow the fucking money. And I'm not talking following the money to the big... We can tell you who Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates and all these other fucking retards are. Okay? That's who those people are. I'm talking about following the money in the people around you and go, dude, you're not actually selling out for that paycheck. They're advertising jobs all over the place where you don't have to get a jab and where you can speak your mind.
Well, no, but I went to college for 4 years to get this degree, to get this job.
There's a couple people I know. I go, dude, come on my show. We'll do a special show on the weekend or something like that. Come on my show, and they talk and they go, oh, I can't, man. If I, my job, they would end up. And I go, I would never work at a place.
There's a lot of they've been doing that for almost 20 years, where there's social media.
They're watching your shit.
They're watching your stuff, and you get on and you post something that they don't find conducive for their businesses.
Yep.
They will let you go.
Yep, absolutely.
Some places won't even hire you to start with.
Yep.
Nate, you good?
Yes.
Were you finishing?
Final thought?
We all jumped on your final thought. Were you?
We just need to watch the trail.
Watch the trail.
Follow the money.
I was thinking, sign my
Do
paper.
you want a second to think about it? Because
Did
I
you
got
wanna-
something else to say.
Yeah,
No,
go ahead.
I'm good. Go for it, Vince.
Go ahead.
All
Vince,
right, so I wrote down good way, bad way.
good way, bad
Okay.
way.
There's a good way of doing something so that it benefits everyone, so that you get the right vitamins and nutrients out of your food.
Right.
So that you get the proper amount of energy needed to sustain the economy.
Right.
And there's also a bad way, And right now, they're only looking at the bad way to do everything. They're looking at how can we make this the worst possible disaster ever in human existence before we come out and pose as saviors because we have all the wealth.
Right.
And we can say, here, I got $10.
Right.
You can buy a loaf of bread.
Right.
Well, there's 8 billion people that no longer have any money. And there's 6,000 people that have all the money.
Right.
At least I have $10 for bread.
$10.
At least the last time I checked, it was around 6,000 people that have 99.99999% of all the wealth.
Didn't the great senator, what's his name? Bernie Sanders. Didn't the great Bernie Sanders say, "Bread lines are good. At least you know you got bread."
Yeah.
Fuck off.
But they'll never put themselves in that position because why would they?
Exactly. All right. We had a really good show today. Good information. We went over a lot of news, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that was actually
very informative.
This week's news tonight.
That was
actually today's news tonight.
Today's news tonight. We did do a lot of today's news.
We did do a
4
lot
hours
of today's.
news.
Yeah.
So my final thought tonight to close out the show, get healthy. Whatever you need to do, whatever it takes, get healthy. Get your gut health in order. Whatever you need to do. Do some fasting. Take a bunch of stuff out of your diet. I don't go to extremes.
Try not eating sugar for a week.
I slowly take stuff out. I've quit before, but I was a Mountain Dew drinker. Drink at least a can a day over the last 10 years. But in years past, I would drink a 2-liter a day, or the equivalent in a jug. And I've had to work. That's just one small aspect. But I don't go to extremes and just, I'm going to do this and do this radical diet. But I work at getting rid of things out of my diet, moving things and getting good things in and moving towards better things. But my whole point is get over to a place where you're eating better and eating healthy, because your gut you need to be listening to your gut. That's your intuition. That's your inner man. That's your spirit. And if your gut health, your physical gut health is bad, then your spiritual gut health is going to be bad.
Your brain.
And we all need to be listening
bad.
to that still small voice within us that directs us and leads us and guides us. In Christianity, we call that the Holy Spirit. But you know what? God speaks to each and every person. It's just whether we tune in and listen. And if you tune in and listen, then you acknowledge the Creator. You acknowledge the one who created you and begin to walk down that road. Then it's hard for the devil to deceive you, because you begin to understand who you are and you start making right decisions. But when you don't have a fucking clue who you are, then it's really easy to be deceived. And that's what happens. And it's really easy to be manipulated by the elites of this world, the 6,000, through fear. Fear is huge. So that's my final thought. Get healthy, spiritually, mentally, physically. Physical is huge. People like to discount and say, "Oh, the flesh counts for nothing," and they take things out of context. Listen,
you don't have physical health. You don't think right.
If you don't have your physical body, guess what? You don't have a mental or spiritual body either, because you're dead.
Yeah, you're not gonna fucking upload onto a computer like some,
they think,
Bill Gates science project.
Exactly.
Doesn't work like that.
So there it is. Get healthy and get your stuff going. Thank you, everybody that chimed in tonight. Thank you guys that are watching rebroadcast. Please like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to get more developed on some of these other platforms that don't censor. I don't know if we'll be kicked off on YouTube for this, and we did mention the jab quite a bit tonight. They might do. Jabby.
How much you want to bet it's gone by tomorrow morning?
We'll check it out. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. We appreciate it.
Maybe not.
Hope you enjoyed the show.
Out.
We had a great time tonight.
Comment next time.
Let me know
how long you think it takes for them to take this video down.
Yeah, because
we'll tell you next week.
Well, we just watched Steven Crowder's whole, was it his whole channel or was it just, he was they were taken down, but I think it was just for a week, like they were suspended for a week, which we've had 3 of those.
Oh, it's just for a week.
You don't
have to sue the shit out of us.
It's not even a community strike. It's just, we're just going to take you down because we didn't like what you had to say.
I love Crowder because he's like, it's just for a week. And they said, I don't have to sue the shit out of them.
Right.
So let's sue the shit out of them.
Right. Well, and I love him because
Asian lawyer.
he's got the, he read the ambiguous thing that we've read on the air where they say, we feel that it's violated our community guidelines. Oh, you feel that it's violated your community guidelines?
Oh, so this comes from a place of emotion?
Oh, you feel like it may have. Oh, okay. Well, let's go with your feeling. And you know what it was? It was the Republican gubernatorial candidate for Arizona who came on his show as a guest and said that she would like she won the primary and said she would still like audits so that we don't have any funny, but she goes, I don't want to win illegitimately. I want to make sure that all the votes were honorable. I won, but I still want it to be forensically audited to verify everything. That's what they took her down on.
Because they could just as easily plant a whole bunch of ballots, fake ballots for the other person.
Right.
And say, they got 40,000 extra ballots where they cheated.
Yeah.
They stole an election.
Exactly.
Oh, my God.
And those people are just that fucked up that they would do it.
She's Hitler.
Jeremy Scott Gibbs, Nate Searle, Taylor Vincent Gibbs, Grandma Connie, the Supreme.
Yay.
This is My Brain. Thank you all for tuning in tonight, and we will talk to you at least by next Tuesday.
Catch you on the flip-flop.
Peace out.
Catch you on the flip side, my friends.
Peace be with you.
All right, later.
Later.
This is My Brain.
Dad, that's an egg.
Yeah, that's an egg.
Honey,
Dude.
that's an egg.
Seriously.
That's an egg.
It's a metaphor.
It's still an egg.
That's an egg.
I would challenge you.
That's an egg.
I know my brain is not actually an egg, okay? It's a metaphor.
Metaphor or not, that's not your brain.
I can clearly see.
It's just an egg.
Una cerveza para mí. My egg is my brain.
Can I at least have some bacon, maybe some sausage with that egg, though?
Oh, I want some bacon.
I want crepes.
Have some bacon and pancakes with that egg.
I'll take it with cheese.
Extra large brown cage-free eggs.
Can I have your brain with hot cakes?
A little sausage and a little toast and potato.
That would be great.
Does it have antibiotics?
I don't know, man. I'm not good at this shit.
Well, they got to be able to resist some diseases.
You resist the disease.
Has it got any hormones?
Maybe. It's cage-free.
Vegetarian?
Maybe.
Are they vegan?
No, I eat steak.
Never apologize and never explain. It's a sign of weakness.
It is a sign of the Duke. Yes.
John Wayne.
Weak.
The Duke.
Weakness. Never apologize.
Never apologize and never